Good morning, 5 o'clock now. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories and a gorgeous Tuesday ahead. Abundant sunshine and a high of around 68 degrees. Right now, it is 50. In the news, the clock is ticking on President Trump's threat to Iran. He has said Iran needs to open the Strait of Hormuz before tonight, 8 o'clock tonight, or he'll bomb the country. And negotiators say it does not appear that the Iranians are prepared to meet that demand.
Bombing these civilian targets could have devastating consequences for the Iranian people. But the president insists they would be angry if America backed off.
They would be willing to suffer that in order to have freedom.
He says he's not concerned bombing power plants and bridges could amount to war crimes.
We have to have a deal that's acceptable to me. And part of that deal is going to be we want free traffic of oil.
So far, it's not clear if talks continued overnight. The astronauts aboard the Artemis 2 got a special phone call after swinging around the dark side of the moon yesterday.
Today you've made history and made all America really proud, incredibly proud.
Yeah, during that call with the president, astronaut Christina Cook described what it was like to see the Earth again after passing behind the moon.
One of the biggest highlights was coming back from the far side of the moon and having the first glimpses of planet Earth again after being out of communication for about 45 minutes. It really just reminds you what a special place we have.
Yeah, part of the mission for the astronauts yesterday, taking photos and noting possible landing sites for future Artemis missions. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management online at beaconcm.com.
Both stocks and oil prices rose as investors look for clues that the war in Iran could be winding down. The Dow added 165 points. The Nasdaq gained 117. The S&P grew 29. The price for a barrel of benchmark U.S. crude rose 1.3% to $113. Brent crude closed at $110 per barrel. Apple and Amazon each rose 1%. Banks helped too. J.P. Morgan Chase added nearly 1% after CEO Jamie Dimon told shareholders in his annual letter that the U.S. economy continues to be resilient and businesses still look healthy. But he also warns that prices remain high and the war in Iran could make things worse. A sobering message from Goldman Sachs to tech workers displaced by AI. Expect a lengthy search for a job that'll probably pay less than the last one. And Samsung ending its namesake texting app in July. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Stock futures this morning all pointing up with the Dow futures plus 104. That's the latest news. Your traffic is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. No delays so far. Things are looking really good on 24 as you make your way in. 40, no delays so far. And 65 looks pretty clear. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.506 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Welcome on into a Tuesday. It is April 7th, sunny and 68 today. And the clock, as you said, Joan, is a ticking. It's going to be really interesting to see how all of this plays out. One of the things I noticed, and Joan, I don't know if you had this in your newscast, as Donald Trump is getting ready to bomb the living crap out of the Iranians, the Iranians are out there calling for people to form human chains around their power supply, their power buildings or whatever. And here's my thought on that. I think what Iran is going to do is they're going to start rounding people up and forcing them to be human chains. I think that is more than likely what they're doing. They're saying for, the public, hey, come form a human chain and protect our power supply in Iran voluntarily. But no, I think what they're going to do is they're going to start rounding people up, just like Hamas does. That's what these cultures and these types of governments do. So that is part of the news today. I thought it was interesting where the president, of course, as you know, he had a big-time press conference yesterday. I've got some audio only. I got some audio coming up. And so the president, he had that big press conference, and I listened to it. It wasn't on WTN, not sure why, but I ended up listening to it on satellite radio. And so I thought it was interesting how some in the media are framing this press conference. This is what the Daily Mail says. The Daily Mail says Trump's craziest ever press conference devolves into chaos as he's ridiculed for mixed messages on Iran. Now, I got to ask, Joan, did you watch or listen to any of the press conference yesterday?
Yeah, I sure did.
What did you think? Did you think that it was Trump's craziest ever press conference that devolved into chaos? I remember the days when Jim Acosta was grabbing microphones.
Yeah.
So I don't know what, and I like the Daily Mail, but I don't know what the heck they're talking about.
I don't either. Maybe they weren't around then. I don't know. There was one reporter that said, do you think that God approves of what you do, or something like that? Did you hear that question?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, they were, questioning.
I don't know, lady. Do you think that that's if I'm Trump? I don't know, lady. Do you think that God approves of all of the people that Iran has killed over the last couple of months? Remember yesterday, we talked about 45,000 protesters that Iran's government killed.
Yeah.
So
they're grabbing at straws. They're doing anything they can to make them look bad.
All right. So this is part of the press conference yesterday. I know that some of you have heard some of this, but I'm just going to play a couple of select cuts from the president's. I would call it an epic press conference. I liked what the president had to say yesterday. This is the president talking about how we are going to essentially tonight, if they don't reopen the Strait of Hormuz, they're going to be blown back into the Stone Age.
They're very good bullshit artists. That's why for 47 years they've been bullshitting other presidents, and they haven't done the job. And people are living in hell. You live in that country, they're living in hell. No, I think that 47 years of this stuff is long enough. They're at the weakest point they've ever been. They have no Navy, they have no Air Force, they have no anti-aircraft weaponry, they have no radar, they have no communication.
Yeah, that is obviously the president talking about Iran. We've talked about how they are BS artists. And what they mean by that, of course, is that Iran does not negotiate in good faith, which is why, I don't know, my opinion is that this is the hill that Iran is going to die on. And so now the president is talking about, and he set the table on over the weekend when he said that Tuesday is going to be bridges and power supply day. And he's got a whole long list. I mean, I guarantee you that everybody knows their target. Everybody knows what time they're going to be leaving the ship or wherever they're stationed. And they're going to take out their targets. And the president, you know, I played this audio bite yesterday, but I think it is worth repeating because when the president says that Iran, they're a bunch of BS artists, well, he talked about that with Trey Yingst on Fox News. And again, we played some of this yesterday where he described the president's frustration with negotiating with Iran.
President Trump ordered, remember, a strike against the B-1 bridge, a new bridge in Iran that the Iranians, according to intelligence officials here, were going to use to transport military equipment. And he told me on the phone that as he was trying to get a deal, the Iranians were trying to push off the negotiating timeline, saying next Tuesday we'll meet, for example. And the president said, no, next hour, because this is a president who wanted to get a deal. He wants to get the job finished. And ultimately, the Iranians were trying to stretch out that negotiating timeline, and the president ordered the strike against this critical infrastructure in Iran, again, to send a message that the United States is not playing games on the battlefield or at the negotiating table.
Yeah, and as I've said, I mean, perhaps ad nauseum now at this point, but the thing that Iran does is they try to run out the clock, and I've read that it's actually something that they have been doing, as Donald Trump said, for like 47 years. And remember that they're at 60% uranium enrichment. They got to get to 90%, which, you know, from 60 to 90%, remember all the interviews I've done where this is something they could do. I mean, I've seen a breakout time where how quickly can they get to a nuclear bomb from where they are right now. I've seen a breakout time of like a few days to a few weeks to a few months. And so I hear all these different kind of stories, but you know what I haven't heard? I have not heard with Iran and a breakout time to a nuclear weapon. I have not heard anything about years. It's either days, weeks, or months, depending on who you're talking to, which is why we're doing what we're doing. Right now, again, they're said to be at 60%. They've bragged about being higher, by the way. Literally, Iran has said that they've got enough nuclear material for 11 bombs. So the press conference yesterday, I don't believe that the president gave mixed messages. I don't believe that there is room for being ridiculed. Of course, this is what you know who CNN is now starting to quote as far as who is saying that the president is being bashed or ridiculed or criticized for these mixed messages? YouTube influencers.
Oh, gosh.
Seriously, that's what they're doing now, is CNN and the Daily Mail and some of these other places, they are actually now quoting influencers on social media whose sole purpose is to get clicks, right? YouTube personality and comedian Jimmy Dore led the charge. Now, he's got 1.8 million followers, so, okay, so he's got substance. YouTube personality and comedian Jimmy Dore led the charge, calling the administration's narrative a clown show after Trump claimed that total military dominance despite the recent downing of a U.S. fighter jet. This is the quote, pretending that getting a fighter jet shot down by a military that Trump said was completely decimated as a victory is pure clown show. Well, we'll get into what Jimmy Dore has to say about this straight ahead. It is 5:15. Time to check the roads on WTN.
We have an issue now in Antioch. It's on the westbound lanes of 24. Just past Harding Place, you'll find an accident on the right shoulder. The shoulder is blocked off. Traffic, however, is moving around it just fine. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. As far as your weather, sunny and 68. Appreciate you. Hey, Joan.
Yeah.
So we're not hearing much of Sam because he is culling through. Apparently, I was a big topic of conversation on the Murphy Show yesterday.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I participated in that.
You participated.
I did.
What did you do?
Well, I heard them talking about us, our little morning show.
Yeah?
So I felt the need to call in. And
you defended our honor. I love, Joan, that you defended our honor to Murphy Show. I didn't know any of this was going on.
I know.
And then I opened up my Facebook Messenger this morning.
Yeah.
And had, a few people mention that I was the topic of conversation. And so now I guess Sam heard some of it. He is pulling audio from the Murphy Show yesterday. So and it's all about this accusation that we stole a bit from the Murphy Show. Allegedly.
I explained to him how it was vastly different.
Did you set him straight?
I did.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
to quote James Franco in the interview, we are same, but different.
Okay, there you go.
There.
Can I be perfectly honest? I had completely forgotten about this bit.
Already you forgot.
Like 20. Oh, now, just so people know, just real quick, I just, off the cuff, spur of the moment, we were joking about nincompoop in the news. And so then I decided that we were going to do, our own version of nincompoop in the news, because like every day there's a bunch of nincompoops. And we decided on, I guess, Mandis's Morning Moron or something like that. And so we did it yesterday. It was great fun, and we moved on. I completely forgot about it. Completely forgot until...
According to Jackson, the lawyers will not let you forget.
Okay, very good. I cannot wait
I'm
to hear
hearing
this audio.
that there needs to be a trial, that the trial needs to happen on somebody's show, on the air.
Really?
Well, that escalated quickly.
I was going to say, goodness gracious. All for something that I had completely forgotten about by 10 o'clock. Anyway, whatever. We'll listen to the audio, and I'm sure that it'll be fun. Jimmy Dore, YouTube personality and comedian, calling Donald Trump's press conference yesterday a clown show, pretending, this is the quote, pretending that getting a fighter jet shot down by a military that Trump said was completely decimated as a victory is pure clown show. So my 2 cents on this, number one, I think that it's kind of funny, the Daily Mail quoting YouTubers as the authority, but whatever, The reality is that influencers come from all over the place, YouTube, and honestly, this guy, Jimmy Dore, probably, let's be honest, he's probably more of an influencer these days than a Jake Tapper, right? He's probably more of an influencer than Joy Reid. He's probably more of an influencer than a lot of folks. He's more of an influencer than I am. So anyway, bottom line is, I don't want to get rung up on that. But the thing that I would say is somebody might want to tell Jimmy Dore that Iran has almost no Air Force or Navy left. And their military infrastructure has taken a massive beating. And so, the Iranian military has been completely decimated. They got off one lucky shot. I mean, I get where he's going with this, but I mean, how about a little depth? How about a little perspective? How about a little context? The president was asked about all of this mixed messaging, which, by the way, is true. He often says, and I talked about this yesterday, that we're going to obliterate Iran, then gives them more time, then talks about obliterating them. Then we do obliterate them, then we obliterate them again. So there's a lot of messaging going on. But the reality is that things are constantly changing.
We're going to be bombing Iran to the Stone Ages, and we've heard a range of those kind of messages. So which is it? Are you winding this down, or are you escalating?
I can't tell you. I don't know. I can't tell you. Depends what they do. This is a critical period. They have a period of, till tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I gave them an extension. They asked for an extension of 7 days, right? I said, Steve, give them 10 days. 10 days is up actually today, so I gave them 11, I guess, indirectly. I thought it was inappropriate the day after Easter. I want to be a nice person. They have till tomorrow. Now, we'll see what happens. I can tell you they're negotiating, we think, in good faith. We're going to find out. We're getting the help of some incredible countries that want this to be ended because it affects them also. A lot of people are affected by this. But we're giving them till tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And after that, they're going to have no bridges. They're going to have no power plants. Stone Ages, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that now, but somebody please tell me where in that, and there's a reason I played that whole thing. Somebody please tell me in that minute 10 soundbite where Donald Trump is giving mixed messages. The core phrase in there is, it depends on what Iran does, which makes total and complete sense. The Daily Mail describes it this way. And he wouldn't disclose whether he'll be winding down the bombing campaign. And this is the quote. I don't know. I can't tell you. It depends on what they do, Trump said, sparking more confusion. How is that confusing? If they begin negotiating in good faith, then there's no reason to bomb them, you morons at the Daily Mail. And if they decide not to negotiate in good faith, then yes, we'll bomb them back into the Stone Age. So what part of it depends on what they do don't they understand? That's a big part of negotiations. Now, one of my biggest issues with the president has been that he keeps saying it'll be winding down in a few weeks or in a couple of weeks, and I would say to the president, stop. Because we blasted Biden for giving exact timelines when he pulled out of Afghanistan. Donald Trump is doing the same darn thing. Keep them guessing. But there is no confusion. It depends on what they do and what they don't do. I mean, if they enter into serious negotiations and they actually negotiate in good faith, then ease up on the bombing. If they don't, well, to the Stone Age they go. I mean, honestly, it's not hard. Joan, you getting this? Like, it's not difficult.
It's not difficult at all.
I don't think that he gave mixed messages. So I love the Daily Mail, but sometimes even they don't make a lot of sense. And there have been times when they've got some TDS going on. Other times they're pro-TDS, they're pro-Trump, and other times they play it straight down the middle. I guess it just depends on who writes the story, whatever. But I think the people who are criticizing Donald Trump's press conference yesterday, I don't think that they really know what's going on or how the president operates. It is 5:23 on Nashville's Morning News, and Joan has the news at 5:30. Joan.
Yeah, there's breaking news this morning about some things that have happened overnight in Iran. A couple of explosions have been seen. We'll tell you what happened and what Israel is threatening next. There's so much to tell you this morning. It's coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
528, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Looks like Artemis 2 is on their way back home. So I don't know if you heard some of the audio, Joan, from Artemis 2 as they were going into the communications abyss.
Oh, yeah.
Last night. Oh, my goodness gracious. I can't wait to play that for you folks. And some of the images that are coming from Orion are amazing indeed. So we'll talk about that.
There's that much color on the moon.
Yeah, and that was a surprise. There was a lot of color on the moon, and because usually, the moon is like, gray and drab and all that kind of stuff. But no, there was some color on the moon. They were surprised by that. They also, by the way, saw an eclipse last night, so that was pretty cool as well. All right, so Joan, Sam wants to play a little teaser cut of what was going on yesterday on the Murphy Show. Just so you folks know, I have not heard any of this. I just found out about this when I woke up this morning. So I don't know, Sam, go ahead and play a piece of audio from yesterday's Murphy Show.
The trial of Dan Mandis needs to take place, Ken.
I vote Ken Weaver for the jury. Fry him, Ken. Fry him. Hit him like a woodpecker.
I'm going to have to recuse myself.
Gonna have to recuse.
I love Brother Dan Mandis. What happened?
So Ken, I don't know if you...
the one morning I don't listen.
Well, and there's a running gag that if they say my name 3 times, I call. And oftentimes I do, but I was out of pocket today, and today would have been a good day to call. Apparently, Mandis unveiled a brand new segment on Nashville's Morning News this morning.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And would you like for me to tell? I think I have this right. You want to know what it's called?
I absolutely do.
I've got it.
Do you?
Yes.
Can we just hear it from the? Do you have him?
I don't have him saying it.
But go ahead and tell Ken Jackson what the brand new, and this is creativity like you don't hear very often on the radio anymore. This is the brand new morning segment on Nashville's Morning News. It's called what, Jackson?
Mandis's Morning Morons.
Uh-huh. Mandis's Morning Moron.
It's great value nincompoops.
So, and it's my understanding the bit is that apparently this is what they're doing now. I don't really understand the nature of this bit. I mean, I think it's kind of over our head.
It's the Jolt Cola of morning news radio.
Is it just me, or does Jackson seem uncharacteristically angry about this?
He's talking lawyers and criminal charges.
I've never known Jackson to become so angry and upset.
He gets more out of pocket the further on in the show they go.
Okay, we'll listen to some of this audio straight ahead. It is Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7.
Good morning. It's 5:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. A gorgeous Tuesday. We'll have a lot of sunshine today and our high pushing up near 68 degrees. It's 50 right now. In the news, it appears President Trump is not waiting until 8 o'clock tonight for Iran to accept a proposal for temporary peace. The Wall Street Journal's reporting an airport in Loristan province in western Iran has been hit by airstrikes. Just happened moments ago. Iran says there were no injuries, but also breaking this morning, Israel is warning the Iranian people to avoid using the nation's trains until 9 o'clock tonight. On X, the Israeli military is saying that riding trains or being near railways, quote, puts your life at risk. The Israeli military has also struck a third petrochemical facility in Iran. This was one of the last remaining compounds for producing chemical components needed to produce explosive material inside of missiles, including nitric acid. ABC's Karen Travers reporting yesterday that President Trump has threatened to hit Iran's bridges and power plants if it doesn't agree to a deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz by 8 o'clock tonight.
What we're hearing from him now is a more firm deadline and more specifics about what will happen if there is no deal by that point. He says in a 4-hour window between 8 p.m. and midnight, the United States will strike at Iran's power plants and bridges. He says every power plant in Iran will be out of business, burning, exploding, and never to be used again.
And we will continue to follow developments out of Iran this morning. In Washington County, an emergency meeting of the school board scheduled for tomorrow after a member's comment to a student that had appeared before the board to testify.
God, you're hot. You know that? Where do you go to school at?
I go Crockett.
All right.
That's a school board member, Keith Irvin, saying, God, you're hot. Do you know that?
Was this a high school student?
This was a high school student. No, she was sitting next to him. And he had his arm around her, like joking with her, and everybody apparently was in on the joke because everybody laughed.
Yeah.
It seemed like he knew her. So, Irvin says that he meant nothing offensive. There is now a petition, however, to fire him and the school superintendent. I don't know how he got roped into this, but it's gained some like 2,500 signatures.
We may come back to this later on in the show.
Yeah.
I claim him. It's my moron of the morning.
Do you claim him as? And if you're a grown adult, you don't ever say to a high school girl,
I would
God,
say
you're
you don't.
hot.
I would say you don't ever think it, but yeah.
Here it is again.
God, you're hot. You know that? Where do you go to school at?
I go Crockett.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So that is the latest news.
Joan, what do I owe you for making my skin crawl?
Stick around for traffic next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Working a crash scene at the fairgrounds right now. Nolensville Pike at Craigshead Street. There is a crash. It doesn't look like it's causing a lot of delays this morning. A bit of a delay beginning now on 24 westbound in the Laverne area, but it's not too bad so far. 40 looks okay. 65 checks out well, too. Traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
5:38, Nashville's Morning News, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello. Welcome on in. It is Tuesday, April 7th. Sunny and 68 degrees. All right, so how does it feel, Sam and Joan, to live rent-free in Matt Murphy's head and Jackson's head? And I don't know about Weaver. But, yeah, they yesterday... Big topic of conversation. Do you know what's so funny about this? So on Murphy's show, what's funny about this, though, is that this was literally a bit about a bit, like that we did yesterday, right?
We incepted their bit.
Yeah, and it was just having fun, man. It just having fun. And I guess they talked about it quite a bit yesterday, and so we played a little piece of audio from Matt and Jackson and Weaves. By the way, 3 of my favorite all-time people right there. So, but they were talking about how we kind of sort of, we took their bit, nincompoops in the news, and we morphed it into, more of a bionic bit. And we made it into, what was it called again?
Mandis's Morning
Morons. Mandis's Morning Morons.
Just remember, there's 3 M's.
It rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Now, just so everybody knows, I'd completely forgotten about this until I arrived back here this morning and checked my Facebook Messenger, and people are talking about what they said yesterday, and I'd completely forgotten about Mandis's Morning Morons. And so go ahead, play some more of their audio from yesterday.
This is what Jackson is going to be calling that segment from now on.
Or Mandis is a moron in the mornings.
Clip that. That's funny.
I figured as much.
Oh, absolutely.
But they really got into it. So we just, as you were saying, living rent-free in their heads. So we just cycled back into the conversation every so often. Matt would be on a completely different subject.
Yes.
But would manage to bring it back to the alleged theft of his segment. And then we have Jackson talking about trials and charges and how we'd go about that.
I mean, we have the golden arches.
That's right.
They have the golden arcs.
McDowell's versus McDonald's.
We have the Big Mac. They have the Big Mick. It's completely different.
That's right.
It's completely different.
It's like Disney and Dasney.
Have you seen Coming to America? I'm just going to file it away. I'm not going to ask you to watch it this weekend. Oh, boy.
You have not seen that, Brother Jack.
So it's just, we just keep popping up.
And apparently I was the nincompoop of the day.
You were the nincompoop in the news from Jackson.
Okay, well that's and they decided that I was the winner. Did I win nincompoop?
Jackson won with you as the nincompoop.
Got it. Okay. Do you know what I think Hey Joan, do you know what I think their biggest problem is?
They're jealous.
They're jealous because of all the people that have worn that crown, you looked the best.
Oh, well, yes. Here, I've got it again this morning.
Do you know what I think, Sam? I think that Jackson and Matt are afraid that Joan got her girl cooties on the crown.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
I did tell him that I had to bend it a little to shape my head instead of Jackson's. And I hope they didn't mind.
I'm sure that they didn't mind.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, and I guess people, if you can find where Jackson says that I won the nincompoop of the news, whatever that is, then that would be funny. I don't know what else to say about it except living rent free in Murphy's head and Jackson's head. You know, Joan, what I've noticed up here in Murphy's head, there's a lot of room. I'm kidding.
Are you saying something about the empty-headedness of one Mr. M.M.?
Yes, but I'm clearly kidding. He is one of the smartest guys that I know. So just nobody take that out of context. I'm just kidding. I love Matt Murphy. I love Jackson. You know who I'm really angry with though? Make sure you mark this tape, Sam, for playback later on in the afternoon. I'm really upset with Ken Weaver. Here's why. Because Weaves was there along with JB when we talked about Dan's Dumb A of the day before Murphy did his nincompoops in the news. Now, I completely forgot about it, and Matt picked up the bit. Oh, by the way, hey, Joan, hey, Sam, do you know what you know what today is? Today is show number 3,417 of Dan Mandis on WTN. I got to stop. I
don't know, because here they are calling for your head.
The good people of Nashville's Morning News, it really does feel like a McDonald's McDowell's situation.
I mean, I would be interested to see if parties could prove copyright infringement, I guess is what you'd want to say here, intrusion, whatever the tort would be.
Yeah.
We could have an on-air trial. I think that would be fun.
3304 says, first of all, 3304 calls me Diane. Nice. And this is considered stolen valor. So, okay.
All right.
Anyway, whatever. Again, love all of them. I completely forgotten about the whole bit until I got here this morning. To be perfectly candid, didn't even.
I told her that was.
I perfectly candid, Joan. I didn't even think about doing the bit again this morning because I completely forgot. And then you just told me you've got somebody for Mandis's Morning Morons.
I searched for like I'm into this. I'm committed to this bit.
Are you committed to the bit?
I am.
What happens if the host isn't? But you know what? You're the mom of the show, and you know. Hey, Sam, you know what moms do? They nag.
They nag.
So
they whip you into
all right.
So
into line.
It sounds like Matt Murphy's accusing Joan.
How?
Well, that you were with them on Friday and participated in a round
that
of it.
I sort of took.
And then Monday, here we roll out a new segment.
Well, it's because I won on Friday, and so that felt good. So what did I do? I wanted to bring a similar type of event to this show as well. It was kind of fun. So, I may have had something to do with it, but Dan was actively willing.
So really, I'm an accessory.
Well, no, I think that, your name is on the show. So
it's actually Joe in Nashville's Morning News. I don't know where you think my name is.
The Nashville's Morning News with Dan Mandis.
I don't know where that is on the...
Sam, does it mention you? It does not. So, the buck stops with you.
55. Really?
Yeah.
It's more like a quarter, but whatever. 5581 says, Mandis's magnificent morning morons made Murphy's Monday meltdown monologue massive. Very nice. Let's see here. 6071, you're not doing it right. If they stop talking about you, congrats, keep them talking, LOL. I guess that's true. Maybe I need to just keep, I love this. Andy says, was Dumb A of the day back when you stole the Three Amigos? No, I didn't. No, because I made it the Gang of Three Amigos. But I don't, it's so funny. I don't care about any of this. So whatever. Anyway, we're going to do the Thunder round, right? Because Chris Hand does the Lightning round. We're going to go ahead, Joan, and do the Thunder round as well. That was something.
Yeah.
Right. BC says, Mario. Okay, so we got to find where Jackson says, Mario says you should listen to Jackson's nincompoop entry. Comedy gold, Jerry, comedy gold. So we'll try to find that and we'll have some fun with that in a little bit. 0227. So then you have a history of stealing from others. Sure, if that's what.
So can I just say bits like this have been around in radio for, since the turn of the age.
Right.
nincompoops in the news is just another word, another title for it. It's been around for forever. This is not, he can't claim the title.
Can I say this, though? Like, Jackson and Ken and Matt, I've heard it a few times, and it is absolutely brilliant. It is brilliant how they do it. And I got to tell you, and I'm not kissing Jackson's ass, but he does add a layer of comedy to that show that has brought the show to another level.
I think I found it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, see, it would help if things were podcasted regularly. I'm just saying.
Did you hear Sam throw Jackson right under the bus? Did you hear that,
I see
Sam?
what that is.
Joan?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so you have something to play?
Yeah. Scrolling through 4 hours of minute markers is not fun.
We got Ken Weaver back. We talked about that in the first hour, and it was a lively first hour. Jackson, the super text line and the YouTube chat has noticed that you're a little more spry in your first hour this week. If I were any less confident in my own personality and in my own self, I would think that you don't really like me. You just like Ken, which is why you were so glum last week.
Sustained.
Wow.
Sustained. What does that even? I don't think I made an objection.
I'm in contempt.
He was apparently very upset.
Yeah. By the way, 1744. Hey, Dan, do you have any original thoughts?
So apparently,
I'll let you know when I have one.
You do have one, or you?
No, I'll let you know when I have one. I'm choking on water.
Sorry.
It's all right. Keep going, Joan.
So as I understand it, the Three Amigos was originally Brian. Brian.
No, it wasn't Brian. It was Ralph Bristol.
Oh.
I don't know how many times I have to go through this. It was a Ralph Bristol bit. Then it was Brian. And then it was an ongoing feature.
That they invited you to join. And then it became
Yes.
four.
And then I joined in from home. And then when I forget and then when I took over the morning show, we changed it to the Gang of Three Amigos because I couldn't figure out if I wanted to call it like the Gang of Three or the Three Amigos. And so then one day I just said it's the Gang of Three Amigos, and it kind of stuck. And that's the one thing that I could remember. So to 1744, occasionally I do have an original thought, but I can never remember them. That's the problem that I have. My memory is terrible, Jane. Hey, speaking of which, do you know what I'm going to do today? And I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to go do JB's podcast.
Oh.
JB and Jay Harper. I'm going to go do their podcast today, Circling the Drain.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to, and I don't know when it airs or posts or whatever. I'm just going to show up, and I don't know, whatever happens. So looking forward to that. All right, it is 5:52 on Super Talk 99.7. Joan, almost called you Jane. Joan's got the news coming up at 6. Joan.
Yeah, we've got the latest coming out of Iran this morning, where there have been more explosions. Those stories and also an active fire that's happening on Dickerson Pike this morning at a gas station. We'll tell you about those things coming up at 6 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
5:56, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You know what's so funny about this whole thing? Then we're going to move on, Joan, about the whole stolen bit controversy.
What's that?
This was literally a bit about a bit.
Yes. Yes.
It was never my actual intention to steal nincompoop in the news. The whole thing was like a goof. I was just trying to have some fun on an overall dour news day. And so now I feel actually compelled to continue with the bit that I had no intention of continuing with. Because if I don't continue with the bit, then it looks like I'm backing down against that bully in the afternoon, Matt Murphy.
You're really backing down from Jackson because I finally found his submission.
How long is his submission?
It's a couple. We got time.
Do we have time?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to do this all day. We're going to get to news at 6. This is Jackson's official nincompoop in the news entry, where I was the nominee. Go.
Yes. You big bull buff. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah.
Sustained.
I know. I think that one's overruled.
Hear ye, hear ye. Have y'all ever wanted tomorrow's news on nincompoops in the news?
Oh, yeah. Tomorrow's news today. That would be fun.
Tomorrow's news today.
Yeah.
Nashville radio feud explodes. Dan Mandis sued by Matt Murphy, now wanted by police for grand larceny over stolen segment. What began as a lighthearted on-air ribbing between Super Talk 99.7 WTN co-hosts has spiraled into a full-blown legal chaos and a police manhunt. Dan Mandis, 5'9", longtime anchor of Nashville's Morning News, is now facing a civil lawsuit from afternoon host Matt Murphy, and according to law enforcement sources... 6'2", an active arrest warrant for grand larceny. The alleged crime, Mandis stealing Murphy's signature segment Nincompoops in the News and rebranding it as Mandis's Morning Morons on the very same station. Murphy,
did you write this?
Whose irreverent daily roundup of dumb criminals, viral fails, and head-scratching local blunders has been a listener favorite for a full calendar year on The Murphy Show, filed suit late Monday in Davidson County Chancery Court. Court documents obtained by this reporter accuse Mandis of willful misappropriation of intellectual property, unjust enrichment, and intentional interference with contractual relations.
Man, that sounds
Murphy
serious.
is seeking damages in excess of $500,000, claiming the morning version has siphoned listeners' ad revenue and even a coveted in-house nincompoop trophy and crown.
Yes!
That had become a running gag. Dan just didn't borrow the format. He hijacked the whole damn thing and slapped his name on it, Murphy told reporters.
I did say that.
This isn't friendly competition. This is theft. But the real bombshell came Tuesday afternoon when Metro Nashville police confirmed they have issued a warrant for Mandis' arrest on charges of grand larceny. Under Tennessee law, grand larceny applies to theft of property valued at $2,500 or more.
That's fair.
Station insiders say Murphy's legal team successfully argued that the Nincompoops in the News brand, complete with its custom sound effects, catchphrases, and loyal audience, qualifies as protected intellectual property worth far more than the statutory threshold.
Can I ask a question? Wait, is it over?
Yeah.
Is that it? There's nothing intellectual about nincompoops in the news.
Amen to that.
Ooh, snap. And did he say that I was 5'9"?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Jackson. I love you, but you're wrong.
And then Murphy corrected
No,
him
I
and
think he
said
said
6'2".
Oh, okay.
No, I think
he
Murphy
said
was saying
5'9", meaning 5 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Oh, got it. Because I'm like 5'5".
Yeah.
And what's funny now is now I feel like, Joan, I have to continue the bit because I feel like I'm being challenged to continue the bit of Mandis's Morning Morons, because if I don't, it will look like I'm backing down, which I had no intention of doing this every single day because I completely forgot about it.
And now you know why our trophy's the golden shovel.
It was literally a bit about a bit, and now I've got to do this every day.
That's what happens when you dig a hole.
Thanks a lot, Jackson. Thanks a lot, Murphy. Anyway, got a lot more straight ahead on WTN.
Good morning, 6:01. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. There's an active fire at an East Nashville gas station this morning. It's happening at a Citgo gas station in the 700 block of Dickerson Pike. It's just across from the Salvation Army. There are multiple firefighters on the scene. This is an active situation because that gas station sits at the edge of a residential community. We're hearing that Dickerson Pike is, however, open to traffic. We will keep an eye on this morning. President Trump has given Iran until 8 o'clock tonight to open maritime traffic in the Strait of Hormuz or suffer the consequences.
The president has said the entire country can be taken out in one night and that night might be tonight. The president is saying that he has a plan, basically during a 4-hour blitz, to take out every bridge in Iran, warning that they could be decimated by midnight tonight, to take out every power plant in Iran. He says they will be out of business, burning and exploding, never to be used again. The president warning that if these attacks go forward against this kind of infrastructure, that it could take Iran 100 years to rebuild.
That's ABC's Mary Bruce reporting. Meantime, Israel says it's blown up a third petrochemical facility in Iran. Today's was the last remaining facility where Iran can produce chemical components needed to produce explosive material inside missiles. And joint Israeli-American airstrikes have destroyed an airport in Loristan province in western Iraq. A spokesperson for the Iranian province tells the state television that there were no injuries after the attack by, he said, the American Zionist enemy. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
On Monday, the Dow Jones gained 165 points to close at 46,670. The S&P and NASDAQ each rose about 0.5%. Investors hoping to see interest rates drop won't like what they heard from the president of the Federal Reserve of Cleveland. Beth Hammack says rates might have to be boosted if inflation remains stuck above 2%. If you're hoping to get your hands on some SpaceX stock when the company goes public in June, you might have to get in line. The space company owned by Elon Musk has told its bankers that a large portion of its shares will be earmarked for retail investors. And with just over a week before the filing deadline, the IRS says it's received about half of the 164 million tax returns it's expecting. The average refund amount for individual filers is $3,521, up $350 from a year ago. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Stock futures have turned negative here, apparently, as ceasefire hopes fade ahead of the President Trump's Iran deadline. We've got Dow futures now down 173 points. That's the latest news. Traffic's up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. In Laverne on westbound 24 at Old Hickory Boulevard South, it's a crash on the left shoulder at the fairgrounds. Nolensville Pike, north of Craighead Street. Watch there for a crash as well. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.607 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. CNN is calling this breaking news, Joan, and I don't know why, but they're saying that Donald Trump, this is breaking news. They're saying that Donald Trump says that he is not worried about war crimes in Iran for hitting the bridges and the power plants. Well, that was yesterday.
Yeah.
So no, CNN, that is not breaking news, but it is breaking news that Iran is now calling for their citizens to form human chains around their power plants. And I don't know how you do a human chain around a bridge, but whatever. So, but that is what Iran is now calling for, is for their citizens to form these human chains. What I said in the 5 o'clock hour, and I'll continue to say it, is I believe that Iran is going to start rounding people up and just like Hamas does, and forcing people to do these human chains around the power plants and the bridges. And so I think that this is going to be, one for the ages tonight. I think the world is going to be watching to see how Iran responds to the president saying, listen, if you don't open up the Strait of Hormuz, then we're going to blow up your power plants and your bridges, and see if the president actually does it. So there is a lot going on. You were saying in Trump, if no deal by tonight, he says, I am blowing up everything. So
this is bridges. What is it? Bridges and Power Plants
Bridges
Day.
and Power Plants Day.
So,
Tuesday was
yeah.
Bridges and Power Plants Day. And it's supposed to be 8 p.m. Eastern time tonight, which is 7 o'clock our time.
So CNN yesterday had Brett McGurk on. Do you know who he is?
No.
He is former National Security Council coordinator for the Middle East and North Africa. Now he's a CNN global affairs analyst. He was asked about, whether the United States is going to commit war crimes by going after these residential areas or,
Well, essentially what the accusation is that he would be committing war crimes by targeting civilian infrastructure.
Correct.
That's what the accusation would be. And then, of course, the defense on that is, well, yeah, but a lot of this stuff is also utilized by the military. Go ahead, John.
Yes. Okay. So this is what he had to say about that.
We have JAG officers. We're very careful in CENTCOM and know how targets are selected. So I'm fairly confident that if we carry out a target, that it would be a military target within the laws of armed conflict. That's just how the U.S. military operates.
So
yeah.
It's kind of like, don't be stupid. Like, of course, we're going to select targets that are not going to get the president in trouble, not going to get our military in trouble. But again, like we saw with Palestine forever, they're using the schools, they're using the hospitals to store bombs underneath for their operations, to meeting underneath those places.
Yeah, and they ground up human shields.
Yeah.
That's what they do. That's where
which is apparently what they're doing this morning.
Yeah, that's what Iran's going to do. That's what Hamas does. That's what these people do. And by the way, Iran, if you want to avoid this, open up the Strait of Hormuz, or at the very least, start negotiating in good faith. Here's the thing about Iran, is that they're being so incredibly provocative. They're being provocative. They're not negotiating in good faith. And they're trying to poke the bear. They're trying to provoke Donald Trump. And I think part of what they're doing, obviously, is that they realize that they look incredibly weak to the people in their nation. So they're talking up a good game, of course, but there is no doubt that they have been decimated. A lot of their leaders have been killed. I think we're now, 3 layers deep into the cockroaches that run Iran. And so and here's my thing. If this is something, they're at 60% uranium enrichment. They're at a breakout of a few days to a few weeks to a couple of months, whatever, depends on who you talk to. So if this is what we need to do, then this is what we need to do. And I would rather do what we're doing now or going to do tonight. I would rather do that than send in ground troops. That's my point. I don't want ground troops going into Iran. So if this is so we don't have to send in ground troops and so that we can get Iran under control and defang them and, denuclearize them, then this is what we need to do. Bottom line. All right, real quick. Trump and the leaker. And something incredible that Joe Kent is out there saying. If there has been any doubt that Donald Trump's former counterterrorism chief should have been fired before he quit, there is evidence of that this morning. So this is Donald Trump. One of the things he is on the lookout for, speaking of a leaker, he is on the lookout for whoever leaked the story of the downed airman a few days ago. Remember how this whole thing played out? And Joan, you may have to fill in some blanks for me, but I think I got this right. So the plane was shot down, and both the pilot and the weapons systems officer, they parachute out. They get separated. They find the first guy. The second guy, of course, as we told the story yesterday, was out there climbing 7,000 feet and hiding in a crevice. Somebody somewhere.
Injured.
What's that?
While injured.
While injured and only with a handgun. That's all he had. And so somebody somewhere leaked the story that there was a second airman that had to be rescued. So this is what Donald Trump, he is going after. He wants to find out who the heck leaked the story that there was a second airman out there that needed to be rescued, because to hear Donald Trump tell it, nobody knew that there was a second person that needed to be rescued until the story was leaked.
As you probably know, we didn't talk about the first one for an hour. Then somebody leaked something, which we'll hopefully find that leaker. We're looking very hard to find that leaker. And talked about there's somebody missing. They basically said that we have one and there's somebody missing. Well, they didn't know there was somebody missing until this leaker gave the information. So whoever it was, we think we'll be able to find it out, because we're going to go to the media company that released it.
Now, nobody knows, Joan, which media company he's talking about. There's 3 that are being discussed. You've got the New York Times, you've got Axios, and there's one other one, CBS News. New York Times, Axios, or CBS News. Trump isn't saying which one it is. There's also an Israeli media outlet that is that did report it very early on. An Israeli outfit on Friday reported that the second airman remained missing, which was quickly followed by matching reports in U.S. media. So I've got a little bit more on this straight ahead. It is 6:15. Time to check the roads on WTN. As far as weather goes, today for your Tuesday, April 7th, sunny and a high of 68 degrees. Donald Trump is talking about hunting down the leaker.
And we're going to say, national security, give it up or go to jail. And we know who, and you know who we're talking about, because some things you can't do. Because when they did that, all of a sudden, the entire country of Iran knew that there was a pilot that was somewhere on their land that was fighting for his life. And it also made it much more difficult for the pilots and for the people going in to search for him.
I mean, that is true, because now, instead of sort of, looking for this guy, sort of on the down low, they had to deal with all of these Iranian groups on the ground that were closing in. That's number one. And number two, as we talked about yesterday, one of the worries that the Department of War had was that Iran was actually sending out a fake beacon to lure our military into a trap. So this leak did have some very serious consequences.
All of a sudden, they know that there's somebody out there. They see all these planes coming in. It became a much more difficult operation because a leaker leaked that we have one, we've rescued one, but there's another one out there that we're trying to get. So actually, the country, Iran, put out a major notice, you all saw it, offering a very big award for anybody that captures the pilot. So in addition to a hostile, very talented, very good, very evil military, we had millions of people trying to get an award.
So that is President Trump talking about how he is going to find the leaker. So is it the Israeli outlet? Is it the New York Times, Axios, CBS News? Trump's not really saying who it is. And, you know, one of the things that he said was that everybody knows who it was. Nobody seems to know who it was. You can sort of start looking at timelines and who was the ones that were reporting it first. But here's, I guess, how this would work, Joan, is that they can go after the journalist or the media outlet. But journalists, as we all know, they're protected by the First Amendment. But if they can find the journalist, and the journalist could be forced one way or another to reveal their source from inside the Pentagon or wherever that person may be, then that leaker inside the Trump administration could be in big trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Depending on what the leaker said, but the leaker could be charged with Espionage Act or other crimes. The leaker could actually go to prison. By the way, if they find the leaker, you'd need to do an investigation. You'd need the DOJ prosecutors to bring charges. Then the courts would get involved and the rest of it. But I get why Trump is so frustrated, because that could have had some very real world consequences.
I was going to say, I think it did to a degree, because then they had to, you know, step up the time on the mission.
Right.
And it led to, we had two MC-130J Commandos, which are a special variant of the C-130 that we actually, Berry Field over here in Nashville used to be the International Training Center for. These two transport planes got stuck. So then we had to blow them up in the process of this rescue.
Yep.
And then they had to wait for somebody else to pick them up.
Yeah. So I get why Trump is so ticked, and we'll see if they can find the leaker. By the way, speaking of leaker, Joe Kent. Have you heard what Joe Kent's out there saying now, Joan?
I have. I got to tell you, this guy's dangerous.
Joe Kent, Donald Trump's former counterterrorism chief or czar, whatever you want to call him. We all know that he sensationally resigned several weeks ago, saying in his resignation letter that Iran posed no imminent threat and the war was driven by pressure from Israel. So he posts a story from the left-wing drop site news alleging, listen to this, the Pentagon had lost hope of rescuing the unidentified airman and instead was going to kill him. So Iran couldn't capture him alive. So Joe Kent is saying that the military was going to kill this guy as opposed to try to rescue him so that Iran couldn't capture him alive. So now he and Jake Tapper were going back and forth on social media yesterday. First of all, I mean, look, I don't know the ways of the military, but if you know the story, and we told the story yesterday about the great lengths that the Trump administration went to capture this guy after climbing 7,000 feet while injured, armed only with a handgun and hiding in a crevice, it would have been relatively easy to kill this guy. But they went to great lengths to save this guy. So I don't know what the heck Joe Kent is talking about. Like, I agree with you, Joan. And here's the other thing. I'd be willing to bet that Joe Kent still has people who are sources for him inside the Department of War. How do we know that Joe Kent didn't, find out this information about the missing airman? How do we know that he's not the one that leaked it to the media? talking about the leaker before, because we know that he is under investigation for what? Say it with me, leaking. So Jake Tapper quote tweeted Kent's post after the rescue, writing that he was sharing Iranian state-linked outlet nonsense, claiming falsely that the U.S. was trying to kill the then lost U.S. pilot, aged rather poorly, I think it's fair to say, is what Jake Tapper said. Kent, an Iraqi war veteran whose wife was killed on active duty, didn't take kindly to Tapper's criticism and slammed him as a war propagandist, which tells you all you need to know about Joe Kent, because if there's anything that Jake Tapper is not, it is a Donald Trump conservative war propagandist.
Which I have the numbers, by the way, if you want how much it cost.
To save the
how
guy?
much? So
Go ahead.
Total mission included dozens of aircraft across several waves. Some are saying totaling 155 different aircraft came over in waves to cover this area. Somewhere between 100 to 200 special ops personnel, including Navy SEAL and Delta Force. And then when you take into account the total value of everything that had to be destroyed, because we had those two planes get stuck, the one that was shot down, we're looking at somewhere between $300 and $500 million just for this operation to rescue this one guy.
So where does Joe Kent have the foolish comment that they wanted to kill him? That's the thing. He's got no real evidence to speak of, and he's just proving himself to be an unreliable person when it comes to anything related to intelligence. And that's why he was iced out of all of the conversations regarding Iran. You know what else he said? You'll love this, Joan. You know what else he said? Joe Kent encouraged his followers to, instead of watching Jake Tapper and CNN, to read independent media, Iranian media, as well. Are you kidding me?
Iranian media is state media. It's the government spewing whatever they want on television.
That's exactly right.
A government that's a theocracy that's governed on Islamic principles, that you're allowed to lie to people that are non-believers.
So the thing is, with Joe Kent, it's like, okay, so I would then say to Tucker Carlson, and I would say to other people who are amplifying what this guy has to say, so what you're saying is you trust this guy who is out there telling people to watch state-run Iranian media to find out what's really going on in Iran. It doesn't make any sense, but whatever. I mean, if he's got his right to say this, and I've got my right to say that this guy is a kook, he's a liar, he's clearly, in my opinion, a leaker from what it sounds like, and for him to say, and listen, I'm not saying that our media is great in our country, but come on, watch Iranian media.
Wasn't it on Iranian state TV that they were telling young people to form human chains around them?
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. That's exactly right. All right, we got to go. 6:24, Nashville's Morning News. Joan's got the news coming up at 6:30. Joan.
Yeah, there is some breaking news out of Iran this morning. It appears that attacks have begun on Karg Island. We'll tell you who's reporting that and what they're saying coming up here at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
6:25, Nashville's Morning News. Stoltz Co., a great Tennessee company. They do continue to grow and expand. You know, at Stoltz Co., they build pole barns, and these pole barns, they can serve as a garage, an event space, an equestrian building, even barn dominiums. And yes, you can live in these pole barns, the barn dominiums. These days, those barn dominiums from Stoltz Co., they are new and improved. Stoltz Co. is now offering you turnkey options. Now, that means that they handle the design, the construction, and the amazing finishing touches. You turn the key and you are home. And right now, they also offer storm shelters to keep you and your family safe. Now, the thing about your new pole barn from Stoltz Co., it can be used for anything. So if you've got some land that needs a building for whatever you want, call my friends at Stoltz Co. As always, tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out at 615-622-5992, 615-622-5992. You can also find them on Instagram and Facebook to see examples of their incredible work around Middle Tennessee, STOLTZCO, stoltzco.com.
Good morning. It is now 6:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And welcome to Bridge and Power Plant Day. That's how President Trump describes it today, as the president awaits Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz to international shipping traffic. Now, if it doesn't, the president promises strikes on the country's infrastructure.
Iran calling Trump delusional, saying his threats will have no impact on offensive operations. New video online shows one of Iran's multiple strikes in the region targeting energy infrastructure and oil facility in Bahrain. Ahead of tonight's deadline, President Trump insists the people of Iran want the U.S. to target their bridges and power plants if necessary.
Now, this morning, CNN is reporting that Iran is rallying Iranians to link arms and stand around power plants. Also, Fox News reporter Trey Yingst has breaking news this morning as well.
So Iranian state media says that explosions were just reported on Iran's Karg Island. This is where 90% of Iran's oil exports are processed. We have not yet confirmed this with Israeli or American sources, but again, Iranian state media says
that there have been explosions on Karg Island. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that U.S. and regional mediators in Iran have continued indirect talks, but there has been, in their words, limited success. Here in Nashville, a fire has erupted at a Citgo gas station on Dickerson Pike. Happened early this morning in the 4 o'clock hour. News 2's Jaxie Pigeon is on the scene. The fire appears now to be out, and crews are dousing hot spots.
Really, it appears where it started was in the convenience store attached to the Citgo. Neighbors heard explosions and saw thick black smoke, and thankfully no injuries have been reported, but you can see now literally through the convenience store, and actually snacks and drinks have been pouring out as a result of there. You can see them literally flowing through the water.
Yeah, the inbound lanes of Dickerson Pike appear now to have been reopened. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 6:32, Nashville's Morning News. Dan Mandis here for my friends at the Covered Patio. It is getting warmer. It's getting nicer. Spring is here, and yes, summer is next. And if you want to add more living space to your home, think about building or upgrading your patio. Now, at the Covered Patio, they've got motorized screens so that you can easily keep the patio open when you want some sun, and you can close them when you want some shade. So your back screened-in porch becomes a lot more enjoyable. You know, different people have unique problems when it comes to utilizing their outdoor space. For example, me, I've got an outdoor patio. I've got issues with the afternoon sun and bugs, lots of bugs they keep getting in. Somehow they're getting into our outdoor patio, even though we've got screens. Now, those issues will be gone with these incredible motorized screens from the Covered Patio. They provide shade, they provide protection, they provide enjoyment, they provide more living space for you and your family. Now, your new motorized screens from the Covered Patio, they are game changers. They actually blur the lines between indoor and outdoor living. So if you don't have a patio, have one built. If you do one, have them customized with the Covered Patio. 615-695-2407, 615-695-2407. Tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out. Online, thecoveredpatio.com, thecoveredpatio.com. Dan Mandis here for USS, United Structural Systems. They are your local foundation and waterproofing experts. Now listen, at USS, these folks live here, they work here, they understand exactly how Tennessee soil, Tennessee weather, and Tennessee homes behave. As a matter of fact, Tennesseans have been trusting them since 1994, serving homeowners across Tennessee for over 30 years. Now, that is more than 30,000 local homeowners trusting United Structural Systems. I am one. They've been out to my home several times, as a matter of fact. Now, that experience means they've seen every type of problem that our homes face here in Middle Tennessee, and they know how to read signs. You know, they like to say that at USS, they like to say that every crack, every leak tells a story, and USS knows what those signs mean. They pinpoint problems at the source: foundation settlement, basement water intrusion, crawl space, moisture issues, and a whole lot more. Find them online, USSTN.com. Transferable lifetime warranties is something they also feature. Book your free home inspection at USSTN.com. USSTN.com, United Structural Systems, 615-488-7855. We are problem solvers, we are experienced, we are local, and we are USS.
Okay, Highway 41A in Pleasant View this morning, north of Boat Factory Road. It's closed this morning on Highway 41A because of a crash. The crash is in front of Pleasant View Nursery. John Thune Airport this morning at Centennial Boulevard at Cockrell Bend Boulevard. Watch for a crash involving injuries. There's a ladder on the roadway on 65 southbound in Brentwood this morning. It's just past Old Hickory Boulevard South. Be careful. You're going to have to find your way around that. And Antioch, eastbound 24 at Haywood Lane. There's a crash reported there as well. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.637 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Text line is open. Very active today, 615-737-9986, 615-737 WWTN. Joan, as you can imagine, lots of hate this morning, which is fine.
It's hate. It's love-hate.
Is it love-hate,
Yeah,
or
it
is it just plain old hate?
No, it's love-hate.
Is it love-hate?
Yeah.
Love-hate, I can love. Hate.
There's no room for hate.
Like how 2805 loves to hate listen.
Right.
That's exactly right. One guy that I love is Matthew Hurt, who joins us on the Super Text line. I should say the Newsmaker hotline. Matthew, how are you?
It's going great, Dan. I'm taking my shovel and I'm going to Matt Murphy's show.
Is that what you're going to do?
I am just kidding.
All right, very good. Hey, I want to play something for you real quick. I got some video here, if we could, Sam. This is Harry Enton over there on CNN, and he's talking about the net favorability of the Democrats versus the Republicans in a midterm election when there is a Republican in office. Listen to this. I thought this was fascinating.
Look at this. Net favorability. Party ahead at this point. Midterm years with the GOP president. In 2018, Dems were up by 12. In 2006 on net favorability, which party you like more? Dems were ahead by 18. Republicans are actually ahead on net favorability at this point by 5 points. So Democrats are just simply running behind their previous benchmarks, and they need to be running well ahead of them if they want to take back the United States Senate, given that map.
To be clear, both parties are wildly unfavorable right now. However,
Democrats are even more unpopular.
So the point is, like in 2006, the Democrats, this was during George W. Bush's second term, 2006, the Democrats were up 18 points. That led to the blue wave. 2018, the Democrats were up by 12 points heading into the midterm elections during Donald Trump's first administration. But right now, in this polling, the Republicans, Matthew Hurt, are up by 5, even though, by Harry Enton's own standards, Donald Trump is terribly unpopular. I will throw in, though, that Donald Trump, while he may be terribly unpopular overall, he is incredibly popular with conservatives. So what do you think about all this?
Well, Dan, obviously one of the elements here, if you dug into the crosstabs, is I think the average voter looks at a Democrat and says, orange man bad is not a governing philosophy. And this is something that you and I have talked about a number of times in the past. If Democrats are running on Donald Trump is bad, those are not policy solutions that make life more affordable and keep us safe and secure and provide good education for our children. And voters are going to start to ask those questions in the summer. And I think this is one of the elements that positions Republicans better than they have been in similar midterm contests. But if you zoom out, I mean, you look historically, the party in the White House fares worse in the midterms, and this is countering that narrative just a little bit. And I think if we dug into the numbers, it would say that the average voter wants a policy solution that makes their lives better, not just no king's protests on overpass bridges.
You know, one of the things in the No Kings protest, one of the things that I would say about that, because, you know, the media tried to make such a big deal about these things, and I don't want to go backwards too much. But number one, some of these folks were paid. Number two is a lot of these people had no idea why they were there. You know, we've all seen the videos of, you know, the person on the street where they're asking them, why are you there? And they don't really know why they're out there. That doesn't mean that their vote doesn't count. But I don't believe that the No Kings protests were really indicative of any kind of a groundswell of support for the Democrats.
Well, some people do love to attend a small d Democratic protest as an exercise in wandering around and exploring the city. I live just across the river from Washington, D.C. There are protests all the time. There have been for the 17 years I've lived up here, and I have stumbled into a protest on more than one occasion and not really known what they were protesting. And so, you know, people like to see a spectacle. You see a little bit of that, but there is some frustration. But the No Kings protesters who are genuinely frustrated about what's going on in Washington, and in particular Donald Trump, were never going to vote for Republicans anyway. So there are folks in the middle, folks who might show up, folks outside of the paid protest infrastructure that exists on the left who are checking it out. But there is a reason, and Republicans should identify those kinds of voters in the midterm and get them out and vote for Republicans.
Do you think that just you know, hearkening back to something you said just a couple of moments ago, where you talked about the Democrats and how they are, and John Fetterman, he actually came out and said this. I played the audio yesterday. The Democrat Party, who is leading the Democrat Party, or what is leading the Democrat Party, what policy? And even Fetterman said it's TDS. It's Trump derangement syndrome. Fetterman recognizes that, and I think the American people do as well. When you look at the two parties, now I understand that you are a libertarian. I think you said you're a libertarian, but I would say that you're conservative. But you clearly, when you look at the two parties, the Republicans actually do have ideas, and we're fully prepared to defend those ideas. The Democrats, it just doesn't feel like they have any ideas, at least ones that are rational and will work for the American people.
You're absolutely right, Dan. There are two things at play when the party in the White House has a party leader. Now, the Democrats have a party chairman, the Republicans have a party chairman, but when the president of your party or of a party of a voter is in the White House, that is the leader of the political party. The Democrats really don't seem to have party leadership, so there's not one person going out there with a unifying message all of the time. And then the second part is, what would that unifying message be? As you've just said, and I tend to agree, the Democrats don't have any messaging other than President Trump is bad and this TDS. What we saw in 2025 in Virginia was a little bit of a conversation on affordability. It looked like Democrats were going to move toward that kind of argument in the midterms, but that's even fallen flat in Virginia. And Abigail Spanberger, the governor, has been exposed as a far-left radical. She is now less popular than any former governor for the last 30 years in Virginia at this point in her term.
Well, because she's crazy. I mean, she's, and by the way, Matthew Hurt, for people that don't know, has lawyered up, and we're going to talk about that straight ahead. It is 6:45, time to check the roads on WTN. Partly sunny today and a high of 68. So, Matthew Hurt, why are you suing the state of Virginia?
Well, yesterday, the Republican National Committee and myself and a political action committee filed suit in the city of Richmond. We have a population of quote-unquote voters in Virginia who are called never residents. That means they have never lived in Virginia, but they are registered to vote and may from time to time cast ballots. And I am one of the plaintiffs in this. You have to have somebody who has what they call standing, so somebody who is negatively impacted by someone's actions. And as a voter in Virginia, I am negatively impacted by this population of people who have never lived in Virginia, but are registered to vote and from time to time cast ballots. So we filed suit in Richmond yesterday to pull these people off the voter rolls. This is just one kind of illegal voting that takes place in states, and I'm honored to do it as somebody who lives in a place where my Republican vote is diluted by 80% of my neighbors all the time anyway. But essentially the Virginia law states that if your parents live in Virginia and you do not, you can establish residency through that way, through through the fact that they live in Virginia. It's a state law. It violates the state constitution, and there's precedent to remove those people from the rolls. I think North Carolina did it here in the last year or so. So, yep, I'm going to court, and I'm suing to get these people removed from the voter rolls.
So do you think you'll make it happen? What are your chances of victory? Because, I mean, let's be honest, people that shouldn't be on the voter rolls are on the voter rolls. Some people are actually on the voter rolls, and they've been dead for a long time.
Yeah, there are a number of kinds of voters who should or should not be on the voter rolls. What I do know is precedent has been established. That means there was a court decision out of North Carolina that is very similar to this one. This does not impact us. Some people might conflate different populations. This does not impact veterans who established residency, who may live, they may be on deployment. This doesn't impact them, but there is this legal definition of what are called never residents, people with no personal residency in a state. And it is absolutely outrageous that someone who has never lived in a place can somehow be registered to vote and possibly even cast a ballot. We are unsure at this time how many. There'll be a process of discovery, which is something I can't get too far into. But yeah, it's going through the court system in Richmond now. The court may not be favorable to this kind of argument, which means it might get elevated to a higher court.
I want to play a piece of audio for you, and it's a little long-ish, but it's New York Mayor Mamdani. I got a video here, Sam, and he's got a program. The headline is that Mamdani, New York City mayor, is launching a racial equity plan designed to solve decades of discrimination by prioritizing resources for black and brown people. People, of course, calling this what it is, which in my opinion, straight up racism against white people. And so then he gets behind a podium and he begs people in New York City not to leave. Listen to this.
Amidst being in the wealthiest city in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, we already see an exodus of working and middle-class New Yorkers. So I don't have a hesitation in asking those who make the most amount of money in the city or the most profits in the city to pay a little bit more so that everyone can actually stay in this city. It's also something not just about justice or the ability for working-class people to live here. It is also actually about ensuring that corporations can continue to attract the top talent to this city. Because in a city where childcare costs more than $20,000 a year, I've heard from corporate leaders about how difficult it is for them to attract individuals who would work at their companies but want to raise a family, because you could be making $300,000 a year and you will feel that $20,000 a year because of the fact that we have allowed for the absence of affordable childcare to become reality here in the city.
So one of the things that he is doing is he's asking people, listen, we know that we're going to be taxing you more. We know that we've been demonizing the rich people, but please don't leave. And I don't know, the more that this guy, just like your governor there, Spanberger in Virginia, the more that they try to implement their policies, the more people are realizing, number one, that they were sold a bill of goods, and number two, that they're not really able to implement the things that they said that they were going to try to implement when they were running on a campaign.
Well, Dan, it's simple economics, and we saw this during his campaign, targeting white homeowners with policies in places like the Bronx. It is simple economics. If you target a population of people who work and earn a living, and you target them to a certain extent, that pain point is going to cause them to move. And I would not be surprised. You know, New York State has a state income tax. New York City has a city income tax. So imagine if you're living in Nashville, in Tennessee, we're an income tax state. Thankfully, it is not. And then the city layered another income tax. So you're paying more than 50% of your income to the federal government or the state government or the city government, some combination of that. The state of New Jersey has a provision that if you buy a house in New Jersey and then you try to sell it to move out of the state, they then take an additional layer above the capital gains tax. So there is no amount of wealth that a socialist like Mondami or somebody in New Jersey or New York is willing to tax out of somebody, to punish them if they don't stay and to punish them if they do stay. It is an unwinning situation for somebody who works hard and makes money to try to create jobs for people who then want to live in New York.
You know, it's going to be interesting, and it'll midterm elections and, of course, 2028. And 60 Minutes did a whole piece on, I've got audio, I got to find time to play it, but 60 Minutes did a whole piece just in closing on the failures of Democrat leadership in California related to the high-speed rail that is never going to happen. But they're now asking for another $126 billion to try to get this thing completed. And most people know that $126 billion isn't going to cut it. But, you know, do you think that between New York, Virginia, Gavin Newsom's failure in California, before him it was Jerry Brown, another Democrat, do you think that people eventually will become wise to the failure of Democrat leadership?
You know, I hope so. And you mentioned that rail in California. Infrastructure, as it turns out, Dan, is a French word for things that are not roads. And the left loves to spend money on things that are not roads. They'll promise you they're going to build roads, and then they don't, and then you wonder why your taxes go up. Hopefully, people make important. This decision is important. Live wherever you live, and what taxes you pay is important. And we're already seeing it in California, New York, and Illinois. More people move out of those states to states like Texas and Tennessee every year. So people are voting with their feet.
All right. Thank you very much, Matthew Hurt. As always, how can people find you on X?
I'm on X at Matthew Hurt, MattheWHurtt.
All right. Well, I talk to you again soon, and always great to speak to Matthew Hurt at 6:53. Joan, I know that you're on this. Jennifer Griffin, Fox News, reporting, and I think you had this a few minutes ago, that we have begun bombing Karg Island. Jennifer Griffin is reporting and she's, of course, Fox News. The targets that the U.S. hit on Karg Island include bunkers, radar station, ammunition storage. Landing docks were not intentionally targeted, only would have been struck if the Iranians fired something from next to them, according to senior U.S. official who spoke to Fox News. In other words, if Iran was trying to fire back at the incoming missiles and they may have blown up accidentally their own docks, the whole point is that it looks to me like if we hit bunkers and a radar station and ammunition storage on Karg Island, that doesn't have anything to do per se with the exporting of oil for Iran, which is what we are trying to obviously avoid, is long-term damage to Karg Island that would impede the exporting of oil, especially if we decide to take over the oil in Iran. Last thing we want to do is destroy Karg Island. However, Iran, kind of like Hamas, if they're firing back at our rockets and they end up blowing up their own docks, well, then there's nothing that we can do about it. Jennifer Griffin also reporting U.S. hit dozens of military targets on Carg Island overnight, and we're getting more and more information on that. Joan probably has some more updated news on that in the 7 o'clock hour news. And Joan, what do we have coming up?
Yeah, we have that. And, we still have a partial government shutdown going on. We'll tell you the new idea that's coming from the newly appointed DHS Secretary, Mark Wayne Mullen. And maybe this could affect Nashville. Details coming up at 7 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. And it is 6:55. Skip the spring cleaning and sell your home hassle-free with the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. Listen, the spring real estate market is in full swing. Skip the hassles of listing your home on the market and sell your home on your terms with the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. No showings, no open houses, just a strong all-cash offer and close in as little as 21 days. Now, one of their clients, Caitlin, said working with Mark Spain Real Estate was so easy and they exceeded my expectations, saying it was a very competitive real estate market. Mark Spain Real Estate helped us accomplish our goals. Caitlin says that he or she would work 100%. They would 100% work with Mark Spain Real Estate again. Mark Spain Real Estate has been helping homeowners just like Caitlin sell their homes for 30 years, and they've served over 72,000 satisfied clients. Don't worry about the inconveniences of selling your home. The guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate makes the home selling process seamless and, yes, stress-free as well. Find out what the guaranteed offer would be on your home today. There's no obligation. 855-299-SOLD, markspain.com to get that guaranteed offer. 855-299-SOLD, markspain.com, and start packing. .657, Nashville's Morning News on WTN. I want to tell you about the Glock store and their huge event that is going on. It's going to happen on Saturday, May 30th, again, at the Glock store. It is their annual open house. I go there almost every single year. You know why? Because I love what happens at the Glock store's open house. This year, it's going to be on Saturday, May 30th. You're talking about vendors. You're talking about really cool speakers. We're talking about all kinds of giveaways and raffles. If you need great deals on ammunition, if you need great deals on firearms, any kind of two-way accessory that you might be looking for, the Glock store will have it on Saturday, May 30th. It is their open house, their annual open house. I think they've got some food there as well. Check them out online. It's glockstore.com, shoot270.com as well. I'm going to be there. Murphy Show's going to be there. Chris Sand, of course, will be there as well. It is the Glock store. It is their annual open house. It is happening on Saturday, May 30th. Keep the date open, and we will love to see you there. .659, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 7882 says, Joan, I'm getting dumber by the day. Now, I actually would not deny that I may be getting dumber by the day. However, Guy says, ideas, talking about Democrats and what ideas do the Democrats actually have. What about health care? 7882 says, y'all have kicked that can down the road for 20 years. I pointed out to 7882. It was Obama that really jacked up health care. That's number one. Number two, the Democrats are putting all of those illegals on health care as well. The Democrats have done great things for health care. Republicans have tried. Democrats have blocked the way every single time. And John McCain. All right, it is 7 o'clock, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories, and it appears there's an all-out attack taking place on Karg Island right now. Fox News' Trey Yingst says the military appears to have struck Iranian bunkers, radar stations, and ammo storage facilities on Karg Island moments ago.
So Iranian state media says that explosions were just reported on Iran's Karg Island. This is where 90% of Iran's oil exports are processed. We have not yet confirmed this with Israeli or American sources, but again, Iranian state media says
that the island is being attacked. Now, Axios is reporting plumes of smoke can be seen coming from the island where Iran handles its oil. We'll keep on top of that. The partial government shutdown continues today, with funding for ICE and Customs and Border Patrol still hanging in the balance. Newly confirmed DHS Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen is hinting at some changes he's considering. And here he is on Fox News talking about it last night.
If they're a sanctuary city and they're receiving international flights, and we're asking them to partner with us at the airport, but once they walk out of the airport, they're not going to enforce immigration policy, maybe we need to have a really hard look at that, because we need to focus on cities that want to work with us.
So you're saying that big cities that are sanctuary cities that have a big airport, they might lose their customs?
Well, I'm saying we're going to have to start prioritizing things at some point. Right now, remember, the Democrats are wanting to defund Customs and Border Patrol. Well, who processes those individuals when they walk off the plane?
Yeah, Tennessee state law prohibits local governments from becoming sanctuary cities. However, DHS did list Nashville on a list of sanctuary jurisdictions in 2025. Here in Nashville, a fire has erupted at a Citgo gas station on Dickerson Pike. Happened around 4 o'clock this morning, and News 2's Jack C. Pigeon was on the scene. It appears that fire is now out, and crews are just dousing the hot spots. The inbound lanes of Dickerson Pike appear to have been reopened, but you may find it very slow in that area this morning. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. Stock futures went lower this morning after some of the action took place on Karg Island, and after it appears that President Trump's deadline to reopen the Strait of Hormuz is going to pass without any action on Iran's part. So Dow futures right now are down 230. NASDAQ futures are falling 154. S&P futures are down 33 points. That's the latest news. Stick around for your traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. We've got a problem in Murfreesboro. It's on I-840, the eastbound lanes before Jefferson Pike, exit 61. There is an accident involving injuries in that spot this morning. Brentwood, Concord Road, the westbound side at Edmondson Pike. A crash reported there as well. You've got a problem this morning in Pleasant View. It's Highway 41A, still blocked off this morning in front of Pleasant View Nursery, north of Boat Factory Road because of a serious crash. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.706 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you, friends. Hope you are doing well, and welcome on in to Nashville's Morning News for Tuesday, April 7th. And we do have some breaking news, of course. This has been developing here in the last few minutes. A couple of things, Joan, real quick. So we're talking about Carg Island. We're talking about how we have been bombing Carg Island. You've had the news, and we've been talking about this. And you know, they're going after, you know, their radar abilities on Carg Island and some of the bunkers and, you know, things that are sort of ancillary to what Carg Island does. We have not done anything, as far as I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, we haven't done anything to stop their ability to export oil on Carg Island, which is what Carg Island is. It is instrumental to Iran being able to export oil. So you know what this feels like, Joan? And I don't know, maybe you might have a different take, but it feels like this is sort of like a shot across the bow, where it's like, okay, we can very easily take out this island if we want to and catastrophically destroy your economy. And by the way, Carg Island, I don't know if you folks know this, but you know, this is an incredibly complicated island with a lot of, you know, very intricate machinery to export the oil off of this island out of Iran and so forth. And so, you know, if you destroy Carg Island and its ability, their ability to export this oil, I mean, this puts Iran back like 20, 30 years. So you destroy Carg Island, which is not what we're doing right now. That's number one. But number two, if we take out their power plants, and, you know, some of the other, and the bridges, the power plants and the bridges, we're talking about a humanitarian catastrophe is what people are saying if you take out the power plants specifically, which is why you have Iran now going out there and they're saying that they want people to form human chains around the power plants. And I would counter that is not Iran saying, hey, people, voluntarily go out and form human chains around the power plants. They're going to force people to do that. And so, you know, that's almost like what obviously Hamas has been doing for years, and we've been dealing with that. Israel has been also overnight, I guess, Joan, you were reporting this earlier, Israel has been targeting some targets in Iran as well in the last several hours.
Right. They've the petrochemical sites.
Okay.
They've gotten a third one now. And that's pretty interesting because that's where they make the chemical compounds that are used in missiles so that they can create these missiles that they're sending all over the Middle East.
Yeah.
I mean, as of yesterday, they were 85% disabled. So as of today, we're talking, you know, higher than that. I don't know if it's 100%, but higher than that. Also, we just got a Truth Social from President Trump. And it's kind of dire. He says, I quote, "A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have complete and total regime change where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail. Maybe something revolutionarily wonderful can happen. Who knows? We'll find out tonight, one of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the great people of Iran.
This is in the hands of the Iranian people.
Absolutely.
I mean, the Iranian people, I guess if they rose up and once again protested, but you know what? They had 45,000 people that were killed the last time they rose up. I understand why the president is calling this dire. The Iranian government could very easily just enter into good faith negotiations. And you're right, that does sound dire. And here's the deal. I don't believe that President Trump actually wants to do this. I don't think that President Trump wants to bomb the power plants. And, there's a headline, you want to talk about dire. This is a headline in the Daily Mail, the nightmare scenario Trump could unleash by destroying Iran's power plants tonight. They're talking about and this is exactly what you're talking about, Joan, in that True Social, a humanitarian catastrophe for Tehran with millions struggling to get food and global financial Armageddon. What has Donald Trump been trying to do all this time? He's been trying to save lives. Donald Trump does not want to do this. Now, the question is he bluffing? I don't think he's bluffing.
I don't think he's bluffing, and I don't think anyone wants to take that chance.
No, I don't think they do. But, the Iranian leadership, they keep flipping their middle finger at Donald Trump. And all he wants to do is get, number one, the Strait of Hormuz opened. And that's all they have to do. They have to just show some sort of good faith negotiation so that Trump doesn't have to do what he doesn't want to do. He will do it, but he doesn't want to. And by the way, in the midst of this article from the Daily Mail, they also talk about how if Donald Trump does what he is considering doing, they talk about a wave of terror attacks here in America. We've talked about the sleeper cells here in America, courtesy of Joe Biden's wide open southern border when he was in office, and courtesy of course, again, the wide open border, also Venezuela. We've talked about all of that before. So, really, the next 24 hours, obviously incredibly critical on a number of different fronts. If Donald Trump does what he feels like he has to do, it could lead to that humanitarian catastrophe. It could also possibly lead to dangers here at home as well. We've already seen, how many was it? 4? Was it a total of 4 Iran-related terror attacks in the past, 5 or 6 weeks? It's slowed down since the first couple of weeks, but this could, unleash more. I mean, this is something that they've been predicting would happen if we continue down this road of trying to take out Iran's leadership. Now we're trying to get the Strait of Hormuz opened back up. Israel is bombing some of these petro facilities. Now we're going after Karg Island. And I would say that as we bomb Karg Island, we're not going after the critical infrastructure of Karg Island, at least from what I can tell. I want to do a Daily Dan poll. And the Daily Dan poll is, how did you frame it, Sam?
What?
The Daily Dan poll that I told you to do just a scant few moments ago.
Oh, that's right. It was me. I don't know. I didn't.
Sam, can we move on? What's the Daily Dan poll? Did you put it up?
I genuinely don't know.
We talked about whether or not people...
You asked me if I wanted to do one, and that's where the conversation ended.
I said, can we put up a Daily Dan poll? Do you want Donald Trump to take out Iran's...
There's the question that you didn't give.
Power. Anyway, so that's the Daily Dan poll. If you'd like to check it out, feel free to do so. It is 7:15. Time to check the roads on WTN. 7:15, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Text line is open, 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN. We realized, we need some audio only. We realized that Donald Trump was going to do something today. Obviously, later on this evening, 8 o'clock is when the president said is the deadline for opening up the Strait of Hormuz. All of this, I wasn't expecting anything this morning, but you know with Donald Trump, expect the unexpected. This is what Donald Trump said yesterday in a news conference. Some people are saying this was a news conference for the ages. This is what the president said about Iran.
They're very good bullshit artists. That's why for 47 years they've been bullshitting other presidents, and they haven't done the job. And people are living in hell. You live in that country, they're living in hell. No, I think that 47 years of this stuff is long enough. They're at the weakest point they've ever been. They have no Navy, they have no Air Force, they have no anti-aircraft weaponry, they have no radar, they have no communication.
Yeah, and pretty soon they may have no Karg Island. And the president, of course, talking about Iran, he does call them BS artists. And I think the reason why President Trump is doing what he's doing this morning is because he is tired of waiting for them to actually begin really negotiating. And so he talks about them being BS artists. What he means is they don't negotiate in good faith. Remember yesterday, I played this audio of Trey Yingst over there on Fox News. The president had a great conversation with him over the weekend. I played some of this commentary yesterday from Yingst, where he described the president's frustration with negotiating with Iran.
President Trump ordered, remember, a strike against the B-1 bridge, a new bridge in Iran that the Iranians, according to intelligence officials here, were going to use to transport military equipment. And he told me on the phone that as he was trying to get a deal, the Iranians were trying to push off the negotiating timeline, saying next Tuesday we'll meet, for example. And the president said, no, next hour, because this is a president who wanted to get a deal. He wants to get the job finished. And ultimately, the Iranians were trying to stretch out that negotiating timeline, and the president ordered the strike against this critical infrastructure in Iran, again, to send a message that the United States is not playing games on the battlefield or at the negotiating table.
Yeah, and I've done interviews. I've talked about this, about how Iran likes to run out the clock. I've read that it's actually pretty easy to go from 60% to 90% uranium enrichment. I've seen breakout times where Iran could be days, weeks, or months away from a nuclear weapon. Remember, they came out and they said they have enough enriched uranium for 11 nuclear bombs. And so, you know, nobody is saying that they are years away from a nuclear bomb. It's either days, weeks, or months. And so this is why the president is doing what he's doing. Again, when they brag about how they have all of this uranium for so many nuclear missiles, nuclear bombs, I don't know what they expect President Trump to do. One of the things that he's been saying for years is that they cannot have a nuclear weapon. And so part of what's going on is for the administration is this is the fulfillment of a campaign promise that he has been campaigning on and talking about for a long time. So as we cover what is going on Karg Island, where we are taking out some of the military assets on Karg Island, Israel is also doing some military targets as well this morning and last night. Part of what's been going on is Iran continues to try to buy time. And so part of what the president is doing is, I think this is sort of like a warm-up to, okay, this is what we're doing right now, and it's actually going to get a lot worse. And, you know, I thought it was interesting, and I did mention this in the 5 o'clock hour. The headline from the Daily Mail, they talked about, and I just played you a piece of audio from the president's press conference yesterday, calling it his craziest ever press conference as it devolved into chaos as he is ridiculed for mixed messages on Iran. I don't believe that there is any mixed messages. The president has actually been very specific about what he is going to do, not what he wants to do, but what he is going to be forced to do if Iran doesn't open up the Strait of Hormuz?
We're going to be bombing Iran to the Stone Ages, and we've heard a range of those kind of messages. So which is it? Are you winding this down, or are you escalating?
I can't tell you. I don't know. I can't tell you. Depends what they do. This is a critical period. They have a period of, well, till tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I gave them an extension. They asked for an extension of 7 days, right? I said, Steve, give them 10 days. 10 days is up actually today, so I gave them 11, I guess, indirectly. I thought it was inappropriate the day after Easter. I want to be a nice person. They have till tomorrow. Now, we'll see what happens. I can tell you they're negotiating, we think, in good faith. We're going to find out. We're getting the help of some incredible countries that want this to be ended because it affects them also. A lot of people are affected by this. But we're giving them till tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And after that, they're going to have no bridges. They're going to have no power plants. Stone Ages, yeah.
I mean, no bridges, no power plants. That's what the threat is. And I feel like what's going on this morning is really just a taste of what they're going to get later on if they don't open up the Strait of Hormuz. But one of the things that you just heard the president say is it depends on what Iran does, which even though for whatever reason, some people don't really seem to understand, it makes sense to me. If Iran comes back with some serious negotiations and they say, okay, we're ready to negotiate, and we mean really negotiate. And as a sign of that negotiation, we're going to open up the Strait of Hormuz or do whatever it is that we need to do to show you that we're serious. Well, then Trump would back off on the bombing, again, which makes sense. But, you know, if they remain as belligerent as they have been, well, then Trump is going to do, unfortunately, what he has to do. By the way, they also put it this way. Daily Mail puts it this way. Donald Trump would not disclose whether he was winding down the bombing campaign. Quoting him, I don't know. I can't tell. It depends on what they do. Obviously, they said that Trump is sparking further confusion. Well, no, he's not. We just don't know how Iran is going to react. So it makes complete sense for the president to answer the way that he is answering. I understand that the media, they want to know every little strategic thing that the president wants to do. But you know what? Some things got to be kept close to the vest. And if this is what we need to do, if we need to, take out the power plants and we need to take out the bridges as opposed to bringing ground troops into Iran, well, then so be it, because I don't want ground troops in Iran. But unfortunately, as I said yesterday, that may be the only way that we really put an end to this. One of my biggest issues with the president, as I've been saying, is that he keeps, giving too many details. He has been giving mixed messages over the past several weeks. That is true. He'll say, well, we're going to wind down in a few weeks. We're going to wind down in a couple of weeks. And I keep saying, stop. We blasted Biden for giving exact timelines when he pulled out of Afghanistan. What you need to do is you need to keep Iran guessing. And unfortunately, you need to do what you need to do. And I think right now, this is just a shot across the bow for Iran, a taste of what is to come. Joan, is there anything else going on that we need to report right now as we continue to take out some of these military targets on Karg Island?
Not at the moment. There's nothing new about them. We will have more about that in the news. And also, Israel is telling Iranian people to stay away from trains today. What an ominous thing to say. But they're telling people to stay away from trains, to stay away from anything having to do with train infrastructure.
Yeah.
So that is coming up as well here in the news.
All right. Thank you, Joan. 724, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Dan Mandis here. Looking for TRT that is flexible enough for your lifestyle? Why don't you head on over to Low T Center, the #1 name in TRT. Now, you can choose testosterone shots. You can choose pills. You can choose really things that boost testosterone without affecting fertility. Now, you can get your treatment in the clinic or have your testosterone shipped right to your door. You can even choose self-pay or insurance coverage for the payment option that works for you. And going on right now at Low T Center, they are offering new treatment options, including PT141, an FDA-approved libido-boosting peptide, new antioxidants, GLP-1 pills, and a whole lot more. You can boost your energy, lose weight, and increase your confidence. Now, if you want to explore treatments that work with your lifestyle and your budget, book your free T-test right now at fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com. $727, Super Talk 99.7, Loan Pronto. Stop letting high-interest debt weigh you down. Pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. It is a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home equity with no appraisal, no paperwork, and no waiting. Now, Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan uses AI-driven technology to get you approved for cash out in as little as 1 day with a rate that is at a 3-year low. One client got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out all their credit cards, started a home improvement project, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,500. Call Loan Pronto right now and see how much money you can get. No hard credit pull up front. Imagine this time next week, you could be credit card debt free. Loan Pronto, A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau with nearly 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call them at 615-499-5780, 615-499-5780. LoanPronto.com is the website, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781. On approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
It is now 7:31. And I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Attacks on Karg Island this morning. CNN's Betsy Klein telling us it may be President Trump signaling that he's serious about his 8 p.m. deadline to open the Strait of Hormuz.
According to one U.S. official, that the U.S. has conducted strikes this morning Eastern time on Karg Island. Of course, that is the key fuel hub in the Persian Gulf. It handles most of Iran's oil exports, so it's a very significant area, and very significant that the Trump administration is telegraphing that they are indeed serious about proceeding with President Trump's threats if they don't reach a deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz by that 8 o'clock Eastern time deadline.
And the Wall Street Journal is reporting that more than 50 targets on the island were hit. The strikes, it says, did not include oil infrastructure. Also breaking just a couple of moments ago, Israel has warned the Iranian people to avoid using the nation's trains until 9 o'clock tonight. Well, now we know why.
Official confirming to Fox News that the Israelis have started strikes against Iranian rail infrastructure. Remember, earlier today, the Israelis warned civilians to stay off the trains in Iran. They have started to target the bridges of the rail system in Iran as we speak. Additionally, you have these strikes overnight against Karg Island, the largest
and that is Trey Yingst reporting there for Fox News this morning. The Israeli military said that riding the trains or being near railways, quote, puts your life at risk. In Washington County, closer to home here, an emergency meeting of the school's board is scheduled for tomorrow after a member's comment to a student that had appeared before the board to testify.
Bridge Day to go after this critical infrastructure.
Trey Ying's still going on there. Here's that school board member.
God, you're hot. You know that? Where do you go to school at?
I go Crockett.
All right.
Then a school board member, Keith Irvin, saying, God, you're hot. Do you know that? Irvin says he meant nothing offensive, but there has been a petition now launched to remove him and the school board superintendent, Jerry Boyd.
All right, so I got a crazy question. And I believe this is a legit question. I also, though, could be way off base on this. So, dude says to a 15-year-old, is that how old she was?
I think so, yeah.
15-year-old girl, he's a grown A man, right?
Yep.
So, he says, what was it, Joan?
He said, God, you're hot. Do you know that?
Okay. So, clearly, the 15-year-old apparently wasn't creeped out by it.
No.
And if she doesn't, here's my question. If she doesn't care, and if she's not creeped out by a grown adult man telling a 15-year-old, God, you're hot, then who are the rest of us to judge? Now, again,
she's a little young to make that determination.
That's what I'm saying, Joan.
Yeah.
I could be off base on this, but there's going to be some people that say that. I mean, I think it's horrifying that you would do that. And the fact that, here's the other thing. The fact that he would say that in front of a board meeting, out in open, knowing that he's being recorded, is like, dude, where's your shame? I
think it appeared to me like he knew the girl. You know, like maybe their parents, like him and her parents are friends, and you know, like it was.
Then you would know where the girl goes to school, and you don't have to ask.
Okay, that's true. The other board members, they didn't seem moved by it.
Mm-hmm.
It is, you know, an incredibly, you have to not be able to see yourself saying something like that.
Yeah.
You know, you really have to. So, there's an effort to have him removed.
Yeah.
It's a petition that has like thousands of signatures already.
Yeah, and he should be removed because the whole thing is just gross. Has the girl... Did she comment at all on this? Like, has she said anything? Has anybody, reached out to her and asked, okay, so how did you feel about that?
Yeah, not that I know of yet.
Okay. All right. Because it didn't sound like she was bothered by it, but maybe she was flattered. Yeah, but you know what? When somebody does that, when somebody says, like, nobody's ever done that to me, but I'm assuming that there might be a nervous laugh.
Yes.
Like a nervous laugh.
It did kind of feel like nervous.
Yeah, okay, so maybe a nervous laugh. And the other thing is I think that the other adults in the room at the time, apparently they didn't seem like...
They didn't.
They didn't say anything.
No.
Like, I would be like, dude, that's just a little creepy.
Yeah.
But maybe everybody realized, okay, this is just a little, everybody kind of like wanted the moment to pass. I don't know. Anyway, yeah.
That could be.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the whole thing is creepy.
Somebody on the super text line said, yeah, you're off base, Dan, meaning that that's something inappropriate no matter.
Oh, if it didn't, so if it didn't bother the girl, yeah, because what I said was, all right, so if it didn't bother the girl, then who are the rest of us to judge? That's what I said.
Yeah.
But I'm asking a question. Like that's not my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm asking the question. I'm being provocative, Joan.
You are.
Talk show host, I learned this in talk show host school. You're supposed to be provocative.
Okay, so
this is a moron in the mornings.
Somebody else said that the guy leaned in and kind of hugged her. So not only did he make the comments, but he also had physical contact with her.
Did he? He leaned in?
Oh, yeah, she was sitting right next to him. He leaned in and hugged her.
Okay,
and that's why.
Okay, I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
Then it becomes even more horrifying. Whatever. All right. Yeah, we'll see. So that whole thing is tonight?
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. We'll cover that. It'll be interesting to see what they do.
Sure will.
All right.
All right. That is the latest news here. We've got your traffic and weather ahead. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
7:37, Nashville's Morning News, the Wellness Institute of Nashville. My buddy, Dr. Kevin Mitchell. Let me give you a website, painisbad.com. That's painisbad.com. Now, listen, they can help you with your chronic back or neck pain, sciatica, slipped or bulging spinal discs, herniated discs, spinal stenosis, numbness or weakness in the arms and legs, fingers or toes can be a past memory of yesteryear. That's right. They can help you with non-surgical spinal decompression therapy. It is the best you are ever going to find. And right now, they're offering it to you 47% off for the new year. That's right, 47% off non-surgical spinal decompression. Now, they've got all kinds of great technology at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. They've got robotic lasers, anti-gravity machines, cryo machines, stem cell stimulation machines, all at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Now, they are the experts at making you feel better fast. That phone number, remember, you call them, ask for the Dan deal, the WTN special, 47% off non-surgical spinal decompression, 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, painisbad.com.
Okay, they're still working on the fire at a gas station on Dickerson Pike this morning in East Nashville. So the southbound lanes at Grace Street are closed because of police activity as they investigate that. It's also very wet there. A lot of water on that fire this morning. Jolton on 24, the eastbound lanes at Cheatham-Davidson County line. There's a crash, very slow in the area. Creve Hall, a crash with the right entrance lane of I-65 northbound at Harding Place blocked off. You've got a crash in Murfreesboro that's just been cleared, 840 eastbound before Jefferson Pike. There's another one in Smyrna on westbound 24, crash in the right lane just before Sam Ridley Parkway. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$7:42, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Boy, I got to tell you, lots of reaction on the super text line regarding the adult male, 15-year-old female. Guy says 5337. Maybe he was just trying to use the kid's lingo. See, and that's how I'm not buying it. I'm not buying that at all, especially if
I will say that's my favorite obfuscation yet.
If he leaned in, people saying, "What if?" Because what I had said was, let's see, if the 15-year-old wasn't uncomfortable, then should anybody else care? And people are saying, absolutely, it's up to the adults to protect the children, which I agree. And just to make it clear, I think this is creepy as all get out. Somebody saying, "What if that was your daughter?" Oh, if that was my daughter. That's the other thing. Where were the parents in this thing?
Yeah.
Because if that was my daughter, I guarantee you I'd have something to say about it.
It's how you talk to the stripper. I'm sorry. Just that language is completely, that's coming from me.
Inappropriate for a 15. I mean, you know what?
Anybody in high school.
I'm gonna even say this. It is inappropriate for any male to say that to any female, regardless of age. Like it's disrespect. If I go up to Joan and I say, Joan, no, just go with me here. Joan, you got the soundbite ready?
Yes.
If I say to Joan,
God, you're hot. You know that? Where do you go to school at?
I go Crockett.
All right.
That's inappropriate to even say to another adult female.
Yes.
Let alone a 15-year-old.
That's a great point. He probably wouldn't say that to another female adult.
Hence why it's what you would say.
I don't know if you are if you are that comfortable saying that to a 15-year-old. I don't know. I'd be willing to bet you'd say that to a grown adult female.
No.
He has no. This dude, I don't know who this is, but he has no shame.
Well, it's the intimidation factor, right? Like an actual adult woman is going to probably be off-putting to someone who's insecure, so therefore he feels he can display that affection on someone younger who might feel
whatever problem you're trying to solve.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm watching the video of it again to see the reaction.
What was so describe for us the reaction?
My computer is just being so odd. Okay, so. Let's
see. 2545 says that the 15-year-old's not old enough to make a determination as to what's appropriate and what's not. And as I said, maybe she was laughing. It's like an uncomfortable laughter.
First of all, she's blurred out in the video, so you can't see her.
Yeah.
But you can see the other board members, and they do not seem to be alarmed at all.
Valerie says, if it's a joke and not meant as anything, but it is extremely inappropriate. She's a minor at a very impressive age. Not okay.
Oh, I see. Hold on. There is one. Who is he? Jerry Boyd. Okay, the superintendent is sitting next to the girl on the other side. and he puts his head up and he kind of sits back like, oh no, I can't believe he just said that.
Really?
Yeah.
See, that would be my initial reaction was like, in fact, I think when I first heard you play that,
Yeah.
Joan, I said, like, dude.
Yeah.
Like, why would you?
The board member next to him is a woman, and she's kind of laughing it off. Is this a longer?
Well,
it's longer.
That's
Creepy AF, says Chris. Let's see here. 7785. If he is comfortable saying that in front of everybody and on camera, makes you wonder what else the school accepts as normal behavior.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Now, that is a good point. That is a good point.
I mean, I'm just, at this point, I'm curious why we haven't heard from the parents. I mean, because I'm sure people have reached out and people have tried to be in contact with whoever this young lady's authority figures are in her life to get some kind of a statement on their feelings about it. I'm kind of surprised that it hasn't come out.
I would be you're right. I would be interested to know what the parents believe should happen. And even if the dude knows the family, like maybe they're familial friends.
We're not friends anymore if that's my daughter or my niece. I'm here to tell you. We're not
Yeah,
friends.
I mean, I had way back when I had friends with teenage daughter. I would never in a million years.
No,
never in a million years.
There's a very fine line to walk if you're going to compliment a young woman's looks in some capacity, and it gets creepier the further removed you are from her family. You're not her dad, her uncle, her grandfather.
Yeah,
it just gets creepier the further away you are down the line.
The board put out a statement.
Okay.
And it said, one of our colleagues, Keith Irvin, made a grossly inappropriate comment toward our student board member. Oh, so she's the student board member. Mr. Irvin has explained that he meant nothing offensive and that we simply have misunderstood his intentions. Mr. Irvin knows his own intentions, but the rest of us have to judge his words and actions. What we saw was shocking. He objectified and diminished a young woman publicly. No explanation can justify that.
Well, I don't know. You know what 6776 says? Watch the dude turns out to be gay, and none of the lefties will care.
Yeah.
I'd probably be your safest bet. I would argue, though, it doesn't matter what his intention was. It's the response of the public that is what judges engages that, and that any lawsuit that hinges on speech tends to lean towards, well, would a reasonable person find it offensive? And I'm a reasonable person. Joan, you're a reasonable person. Dan, I'd like to think sometimes you're a reasonable person. We all tend to find it pretty offensive. So I don't know if there's going to be much ground for him to stand on if something were to take a legal route.
0719. I just told my wife she's hot. Now she's suing me. Thanks, Mandis. You know what? 2280. Could this have been taken out of context? What was his point?
See that? Was she on fire?
People. By the way, 0866. I missed it. What happened? Can you tell the story very quickly, Joan, like in 20 seconds?
This is during a board meeting, a school board meeting, and she is the student board member, and she is talking. She has done something, but as they introduced her, the board member leans over, puts his arm around her, and says this to her. Oh.
You know that?
Jeez, let me go back to the beginning.
God, you're hot. You know that? Where do you go to school at?
I go Crockett.
All right.
Yeah, you're hot. You know that?
If do we know how old that guy is?
Looks middle-age-ish. Looks like
50s.
50.
So I would be like, I'm not telling you where I go to school. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, hey, you're hot. Where do you go to school? I'm not telling you, weirdo. Let's see here. This man has bad intentions, says Lindsay. Let's see here.
I'd say intrusive thoughts, and
Wow,
intrusive thoughts won.
The incident that you're talking about, he asked her what school she goes to because there's only 2 high schools in that county, and he went to Crockett. He wasn't intimidating her. The video that did show her face before they took it down, in it she's laughing. He's just a dumb country guy. That's how he got elected, because of his country thing. I went to the same high school. He graduated before me, so apparently
the dumb country
and that was
bumpkin
from a
excuse.
woman. That was from a woman named Lisa. Yes.
I don't know. It sounds creepy to me. And I'm not seeing the actual video. I don't know if she truly felt uncomfortable or threatened, but I agree with people that are saying, listen, even if she wasn't threatened or didn't find it creepy, because some 15-year-old girls might just laugh that off, not realizing how creepy it is. I don't know. Let's see here. 5430. Dan is a flip-flopper. Says one thing, then backpedals.
No,
they're misunderstanding what I was doing. Whatever. It's fine. I said yesterday it was creepy. Didn't I say this yesterday, Joan?
Okay, so
when this story came out?
Yes,
I
you
said
did.
it was creepy yesterday.
Sally, who, is a regular listener on the show, says the board member said that he was referring to the girl's questioning of the board. Hot as in on fire. She was hot on fire with the questions. And he said she was asking the board tough questions. Still creepy, but it wasn't referring to her physical appearance. It was referring to the questions she was asking of the board.
Do you know what? If somebody like comes in hot, right?
Yes.
I've heard, I've never used that term, but I have heard some people say, oh yeah, this caller was coming in hot, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the vibe that I get.
Right.
It's the drop in the vocal tone for me that's a bit of a signifier. He goes, Joan, if you could play it one more time.
Poor Joan.
Yeah. So
Just put it on a hot key, Joan.
Somebody else said this is so Biden-ish.
God, you're hot. You know that?
Okay, you know what?
See.
All right.
God,
Joan,
you're hot. Damn.
Sam and I know. That he.
It just doesn't. It just doesn't sound right.
That tone is like if guys talk about a girl that's hot.
Yeah.
That is literally what I'm like. If you're in the locker room,
She was hot.
Oh,
right.
God, she was hot.
Yeah.
Damn. I mean, that's
okay. That's.
I mean,
yeah, you're going.
I've never gone that far.
Well, it's
just so we're clear,
exaggerated.
Sam.
Locker room talk.
Okay, very good. Well, it's been a minute since I've been in a locker room. Anyway, there you go. Real quick, just to get back to what is going on in Iran. So apparently now, New York Post, Sam, is reporting that Israel is taking out some train depots.
So New York Post had that the supreme leader is currently unconscious and unable to participate in negotiations.
Is that the guy we call Stumpy with one leg?
That's him.
The
Stumpy.
Allegedly gay Stumpy. And then also CNN had that there are airstrikes coming in to Iranian infrastructure, transportation. Joan had that earlier. They have already started. They are lighting up the railways.
Yep.
There you go.
That's Trey Yingst is now reporting. At first he said it appears that they may start, and then he said, oh yeah, they've already begun striking the infrastructure of trains. And what they're striking is the platforms that the trains run on.
Which it's kind of crazy. He was probably saying that they might start striking the infrastructure, and those planes were taking off probably as he said that.
Yeah. By the way, I've been well danned by Pamela Furr. She says, gotta correct you, Dan. Grown men say it to women all the time about how you look hot. You said
That's
grown
true.
men should never say that to other women. I don't know. I only know my behavior, and I would never say that to a woman. Except my wife. Like, I would never just randomly walk up to a woman and say...
nobody would expect that from you either. That you're not that type of person. Sam, you're probably not that kind of person. I don't know you as well, but I think that knowing you as much as I do, I don't think you'd do that. But I know guys that would. And they don't mean anything by it. It's how they...
It's how they are.
Yeah,
Go
it's
ahead,
just how
Joan.
they
It's how they
are.
are.
Yeah, well, it's how they are, and sometimes they do mean things by it. I'm just saying.
No,
as a representative
may.
of the pigs, men are pigs.
But you know a pig when you hear one, when you see one. And we're not that dumb. I just want you to know. When we see that guy and he says something like that, you're like, yeah, okay, whatever. It just they're out there. They do that.
Yeah. And I think, unfortunately, women and teenage girls, unfortunately, they learn over time that this is what they have to deal with.
Yes.
Men can just be pig. By the way, women can be pig-like too.
They can. They certainly can.
All right. 7:55. Joan, was coming up in the news.
Oh, my goodness. You want me to do news, too?
Sure.
Okay, so...
You play that audio bite again, Joan.
All
Totally
right,
kidding.
Maybe we could. We're going to have the latest on what's happening in Iran this morning. So much to tell you about with attacks on Karg Island and some attacks on train infrastructure. We'll bring you up to date on all the latest at 8 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, thank you, Joan. 7:56, Nashville's Morning News. Dan Mandis here. Whether you are 20, 40, 60 years old, Vision for Life has the right procedure to help you see clearly without glasses or without contacts. Now, if you're tired of dealing with blurry vision, Dr. Horn at Vision for Life is the name you need to know in Nashville. Dr. Horn has helped thousands of people finally break free from glasses and contacts. Now, what makes Vision for Life different is that your treatment is tailored just for you. There is no cookie-cutter approach, just smart, personalized care using the most advanced technology available. So, no matter your age or your eye condition, Vision for Life is the destination for vision correction. Schedule your consultation today and let Dr. Horn create a custom vision plan built around your lifestyle and your vision goals. Call them 615-436-2020 or go to visionforlife.com. And again, that phone number is 615-436-2020, visionforlife.com, and start seeing life the way it was meant to be seen.
Good morning. It's now 8 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. It may be a complete loss. A Sicko gas station that erupted in flames early this morning on Dickerson Pike in East Nashville. Crews arrived around 4:30 this morning to find that building fully engulfed in flames. There is a residential neighborhood just behind it, so crews worked hard to knock those flames down quickly. It is out now, but that building is largely destroyed. Dickerson Pike inbound may still be very crowded this morning, with crews still on the scene. President Trump has given Iran until 8 o'clock tonight to open maritime traffic in the Strait of Hormuz or suffer the consequences.
The president has said the entire country can be taken out in one night and that night might be tonight. The president is saying that he has a plan, basically during a 4-hour blitz, to take out every bridge in Iran, warning that they could be decimated by midnight tonight, to take out every power plant in Iran. He says they will be out of business, burning and exploding, never to be used again. The president warning that if these attacks go forward against this kind of infrastructure, that it could take Iran 100 years to rebuild.
That's ABC's Mary Bruce there. And apparently the U.S. has already struck military targets on Iran's Karg Island. The Wall Street Journal is reporting about 50 targets have been hit. Israel also says that it has blown up a third petrochemical facility in Iran. Today's was the last remaining facility where Iran can produce chemical components needed to produce explosive materials inside missiles. Joint Israeli-American airstrikes have destroyed an airport in Loristan province in western Iraq. A spokesperson for the Iranian province telling state TV that there were no injuries after the attack by what he called the American Zionist enemy. Market numbers now brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
On Monday, the Dow Jones gained 165 points to close at 46,670. The S&P and NASDAQ each rose about 0.5%. Investors hoping to see interest rates drop won't like what they heard from the president of the Federal Reserve of Cleveland. Beth Hammack says rates might have to be boosted if inflation remains stuck above 2%. If you're hoping to get your hands on some SpaceX stock when the company goes public in June, you might have to get in line. The space company owned by Elon Musk has told its bankers that a large portion of its shares will be earmarked for retail investors. And with just over a week before the filing deadline, the IRS says it's received about half of the 164 million tax returns it's expecting. The average refund amount for individual filers is $3,521, up $350 from a year ago. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
And stock futures are on the minus side this morning. The Dow futures down 163. That's the latest news. We've got your traffic and weather ahead. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Watch yourself in the South Loop, southbound on 65 this morning on the on-ramp from eastbound to I-40. You've got a crash. The on-ramp right lane is blocked off. Goodlettsville, southbound 65 before mile marker 100. A crash sits in the right shoulder. You've got a crash on Briley Parkway, northbound at Lebanon Pike, exit 8, and 2 left lanes are blocked off by it. The car is head-on into a wall at that spot this morning. In Madison, Old Hickory Boulevard east of East Marthona Road, there's a crash involving injuries. Just one more. Creve Hall, northbound 65. A crash at the on-ramp left lane is blocked off from Harding Place. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.806 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and we do have the breaking news. Joan has been on it. I've been on it. We've been on it. U.S. has struck military targets on Iran's Karg Island, and Israel is taking out some train depots as well. Donald Trump posting on social media this morning, civilizations will die tonight, and as the president is talking about taking out some power plants in Iran. And there is a lot of people saying this is going to be absolutely catastrophic. Now, somebody asked me the question, and I think it bears a conversation, and that is, okay, so you got all these people that are talking about how if President Trump takes out the trains, which is what Israel is doing right now, and the power plants in Iran taking down, their ability to generate energy and so forth, is that a war crime? Now, I don't know. Here's what I will tell you is that if a nation targets the infrastructure of a nation that ultimately will impact the people who live in that nation and not necessarily the military, then that is considered a war crime. Now, there is some gray area because by that basis, yeah, it sounds like if Donald Trump takes out the power in Iran, and this is something that he ultimately does, and it does have a negative impact on the civilization, the civilians in Iran, then you could say that that is a war crime. However, if there is a dual use, if these power plants, not only do they, of course, provide power to the people of Iran, but they also provide power for the military, then that is a legit target. But some people, and this is part of the definition of a war crime, if it's more helpful to the people of Iran, these power plants, if it's more helpful to the people of Iran and it's less helpful to the military, yet you take it out because you're trying to harm the military, but you're hurting the people of Iran more, then you could call that a war crime. So it just depends on exactly what the facility is that you're taking out and what does that facility do? Who does it help more, the military or the civilians in said nation? So President Trump said yesterday he's not worried about war crimes. People were talking about how when he took out the B-1 bridge, that was a war crime because that was a bridge that was used by civilians. However, most people who have looked at that upon further reflection will say, well, that was a bridge that was being used to transport military equipment. But yes, some civilians would have used it as well. But if the president does this where, Israel is taking out the trains. Now, I don't know what, or the train depots. And so I don't know what these, do we know, Joan or Sam, are these trains that are only used for the military, or is this?
That's not made clear anywhere.
Okay.
It sounds to me, because it hasn't been, there's been no separation of the type of train. I think that we're talking about typical, pedestrian type trains.
Railway. I'm looking at this this graphic on CNN. Israel is targeting railways, bridges, and highways.
Yeah.
Highways and bridges. Well, so you know what? Here's the deal. Donald Trump has really smart people working for him. And I will tell you that the Donald Trump haters will automatically say that this is a war crime if he ultimately takes out the power in Iran. So, but he's got good lawyers, and they'll advise him as they do, and we'll see ultimately what he ends up doing tonight. Remember, this is all Iran's doing. I mean, they are the ones that are simply refusing to open up the Strait of Hormuz. So if they decide not to open the Strait of Hormuz after they've killed 45,000 protesters, is what Donald Trump said earlier in this week, then Trump's got to do what he's got to do. And if he can defend it, if he can defend what he is doing against those that are accusing him of war crimes, then you let the lawyers work it out. But right now, what Iran is doing is they have closed the Strait of Hormuz, and that is inflicting pain across the world from an economic standpoint. So, I don't know, could you... Yeah, I mean, this is all on Iran. I mean, they could open up the Strait of Hormuz and this whole thing goes away. But, you know, when the president puts up a Truth Social post and it says, what did it say, Joan? That civilization is going to die tonight or something like that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Those are exactly the words. A civilization will die tonight.
Yeah.
And he said he doesn't want that, but that's how it's going to happen.
So, and he is talking about taking out, right now they're taking out railways, highways, and bridges. And he's talking about taking out, again, the power plants. And they're talking about Iran is asking their people to form human chains around some of these targets. And is my opinion that what Iran is actually going to do is force people to be human shields like Hamas does. So, I mean, this is obviously a serious situation that is going on right now. This is something that is going to continue to break and percolate throughout the day. And 8 o'clock tonight is when the president, this is basically the deadline. Although, I mean, does it feel like he's moved up the deadline? I mean, they're not going after the power plants yet.
Right.
I think they're setting up for that.
Right.
It feels like this is just sort of like shots across the bow. But I mean, these are pretty serious shots. I mean, taking out the highways and the railways and the bridges.
So J.D. Vance, the vice president, this morning speaking in Budapest, said that during a joint news conference that fundamentally the military objectives of the United States have been completed in Iran. The nature of the conclusion is ultimately up to the Iranians. He also said that nothing has changed here, that it's not a change in strategy that we began striking Karg Island today. So I think that goes to what Sam was saying, that, this is the setup. This is the beginning phases of what will happen later on tonight.
Yep.
And I think quite literally most of it is positioning.
Yeah.
If we're on Karg Island, then we're literally a stone's throw from your front door. And we can stage everything around it. We can go ahead and take it, and ball's in your court.
7679 says he has been in 3 wars. This is not a war crime. If the facility is used and supports the enemy, it is a good and legit target. Let's see here. TB says all military targets go through a vetting process and have to be validated as legal by the Judge Advocate General, the JAG. So that's what I said. So Trump's got the lawyers, and if they are signing off on these targets, then they're going to sign off on the targets, and we're going to do what we have to do. 8:15, time to check the roads on WTN. far as your weather goes, partly sunny today and the high of 68. 97.86. Hey, Dan, many of us are confused on how exactly is Iran able to control the waterway when they don't have a government. Please explain this. Well, Iran, they do have a government. How functional it is, I don't know. But they have the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, and that is the military arm, the apparatus of the Iranian government. But they're not only the military, they also have a lot of other functions within the Iranian government. And so they have the ability to put mines in the water. And so if you're a nation and you want to sail your ships through the Strait of Hormuz, well, if Iran has put a bunch of explosives in the water, then your boat and all the people on the boat and all of that oil that you have, that could be blown to smithereens. So, yeah, and Iran is very good at this with not only the mines in the water. You've seen them, like, mines in the water, and they can just explode a boat. They've also got a lot of drones as well, and those drones can do damage to these ships too. So that is how Iran is able to control the waterway. And here's the other part of that. You might be able to say, all right, well, yeah, but they can't sink all the ships. Well, but the problem is that these ships are unable to get insurance because nobody wants to insure a ship that is going to go through the Strait of Hormuz right now. So they don't want to insure a ship that has this very strong possibility of getting hit with a mine and possibly sunk and a bunch of people dying in the process.
I've got more detail on that. They actually control about 12 miles of the strait when it comes to this direct area where everything passes through. And it's not like they own the water. This is just de facto control with obviously the threat of disruption. So they actually have several islands. They've got Abu Musa, Greater and Lesser Tums, which they dispute with the UAE over who owns that, Larik, Qeshm, Hormuz, and a few others that they have military infrastructure on and can attack not just with the mines, but they can, or the drones, they could launch missiles straight from there to a ship.
Yep.
Not just the insurance, but then you take the environmental toll into effect of a tanker leaking oil into the ocean.
Yep, that's exactly right. So, I mean, things are breaking, things are blowing up in Iran. This is a precursor, perhaps, to what we're going to see tonight. And maybe, just maybe, this will inspire Iran. Because I think that, it is a setup to what is going to happen tonight. But I also think that this is something where the Trump administration is trying to just lay the groundwork and get Iran to open up the Strait of Hormuz. Because, maybe Iran, for whatever reason, maybe Iran believes that Donald Trump is bluffing. I assure you that Donald Trump is not bluffing. So we'll have to see where this whole thing goes. The super text line is open. It's 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN. And people are texting in on war crimes. Are they committing war crimes? Is Iran committing war crimes by controlling the Strait of Hormuz? I mean,
it's not international waters.
It's not international waters. Oman shares the other shore with the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah,
they are impacting, but they are impacting literally the world economically. So there is that aspect of it as well. I'm no expert on war crimes, and this whole thing is coming up as I'm live on the air, so I don't know. Maybe we can explore that here in a little bit. Anyway, it is 8:20 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, 615-737-9986. Got a lot of people chiming in on this. Okay, people are also asking about Mandis's Morning Morons, and are we actually going to do that? So here's what we're going to do. We are going to take our break, and then when we come back, we're going to do a very quick 3-minute Mandis's Morning Morons before Sam has to leave. And Joan, apparently she was all excited to do this morning. I had completely forgotten about it, and because of all of the insanity that happened on the Murphy Show yesterday.
Courtesy of Jackson.
courtesy of Jackson. The bit that I actually wasn't going to continue on yesterday was like a bit about a bit, but now I've got to continue to do it. So we will do it coming up next here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan's got the news coming up at 8:30. Joan.
Yeah, coming up here, we'll tell you that there are some fresh airstrikes in Iran this morning. Things are still happening. Also, charges pending in a deadly crash on Whites Creek Pike that took place yesterday. Those stories at 8:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. 821 Generator Supercenter. Now, listen, we all have learned since the beginning of 2026 in January how terrible it is living through power outages. And we also know that NES and the state is not going to be able to always keep our power on. You need to take responsibility for you and your family. You need a backup home standby generator from my friends at the Generator Supercenter. Now, I learned how important generators are during my power outages that I had to deal with when I was in Indiana. So let me tell you something. If you're one of the thousands of people here in Middle Tennessee that have been talking about getting a backup home standby generator, talk to my friends, the pros at the Generator Supercenter. They are the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. This is not only a huge investment in your home, but also in your family's safety. Now, they do feature expert installation, 24-hour monitoring as well. They're not going to leave you in the dark, and financing is available. Your power goes out, then guess what happens? Your backup home standby generator is going to turn your power right back on. And you'll see neighbors you haven't seen in years. Call them, 615-879-1952, 615-879-1952. Tell them Dan told you to reach out, Generator Supercenter of Nashville.com, Generator Supercenter of Nashville.com. Dan Mandis here for Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Spring is here. It is the perfect time to freshen up the air in your home. Now, at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, they've put together their Spring Breathe Easy package to help you clear out all of that dust and the allergens and the pet dander that has been building up inside your home. Now, they're not going to do just a quick check. They're going to give you a full refresh. That's right, a system. They're going to refresh your entire system. Now, that includes an AC tune-up to get you ready for the summer heat, plus an indoor air quality check so that you know exactly what your family is breathing. We'll also inspect your ductwork and perform a professional air duct cleaning to remove all that hidden buildup deep inside your home. And to take it a step further, they're going to install a whole home germicidal system to help reduce airborne contaminants. Oh, and with their premium service, they'll finish things off with a bonus deodorizer treatment, so your system smells as clean as it feels. Now, right now, you can get that whole package I just talked about for $1,199 on 1.5 to 3-ton systems. That is normally an $1,800 value, now $1,199, or $1,599 on a 3.5 to 5-ton system. That is normally $2,099. Call them, 615-775-7833, busybhvac.com. 827, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, time for Mandis's, what are we going to call it? Mandis's morons in the news?
No, 3 M's. Remember, 3 M's.
Yeah.
Mandis's morning moron.
Mandis's morning morons. Okay,
I think we should come up with some kind of like intro song. Is that just me?
We could.
How about we don't elongate the bit? How about that?
Or
because I'm doing this under duress.
Mandis is a moron in the mornings.
Okay, that's good. You know what? You get a pass, Sam. You get a pass.
I did that impromptu.
That was Jackson yesterday yelling about the fact that I stole this bit from Murphy Show. I can't say this enough. I wasn't going to do this every single day. It was a bit about a bit, and then they talked about it on the afternoon
Feels
show.
so Jerry Seinfeld, doesn't it? A bit
It
about
does.
a bit.
It was a bit about a bit. That's all it was. I wasn't going to steal it every single day, but now I feel like I've been dared to by the Murphy Show. And just like Donald Trump, I can't back down. I'm not going to back down.
I was going to say like Tom Petty, but okay.
Or Tom Petty. Anyway, whatever. I love Jackson and Murphy and Ken. They were so funny yesterday talking about me stealing the bit. Those guys are like A+, man. Love the guys on the afternoon show. So I've now been forced that I have to do this. So, Joan, who is your nominee? And what we're going to do is we're going to have a poll up on YouTube. You vote for who's got the best nominee. And also, if you want to chime in on the super text line, you can do that as well. So, Joan, you go first. Who's yours?
Okay. So this guy named Griffin McCarty, he's from Florida. He has $4 left in his bank account, right? And he has only 10 miles of gasoline left in the tank. But he knows that if he goes to Buc-ee's with his gift card, he's going to be able to get gas. So he goes running on fumes. He makes it. He drives 30 miles. I don't know how he does that with only 10 miles of gas left in the tank. But anyway, he drives 30 miles to a Buc-ee's in St. Augustine, Florida, as a last resort. And when he gets there, he was turned away because Buc-ee's doesn't allow customers to pay for gas with a voucher, with one of those gift cards. So, he says he felt confused and shunned by Buc-ee's. And, he's desperate now. He said he needed his parents to help him out. So I just thought that, yeah.
Okay, so that is Jones.
Yeah.
Sam, yours, real quick.
I'm going to have to go with the gentleman responsible for making these statements at the Washington County School Board meeting.
Okay.
God, you're hot. You know that? Dang. Where'd you go to school at?
I go Crockett.
All right.
Okay, so that is Sam's, and we're already running late. So this is mine. This is a woman on the left, and she's saying that grass is racist and a sign of white supremacy.
I can't stop thinking about how grass lawns are racist and based in white supremacy.
Mm-hmm.
If that doesn't make sense, that's okay, I guess. It seems really obvious to me. It's really upsetting. Bring back weeds. Bring back clover yards. Look, can anything just be okay in its natural state, or do we just have to whitewash everything, make it a competition, and use it as a sign of your worth as a human being in society? Can we just have weeds?
So that is mine.
She's definitely a moron.
She's definitely a moron. And so if you want to vote, you can. Sam's got the poll up on YouTube. And also, if you want to chime in on the super text line, we can ascertain who wins today's Mandis morning morons.
Can we vote on each other's?
Can I vote for you now?
I like yours too.
Okay, listen.
Yeah.
I never win at anything, except for that Marconi a few years ago. Other than that, I never win at anything. So if you guys want to vote for mine, great, whatever. Jones got the news right now on WTN.
I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And yeah, we've got an update here on the military action in Iran this morning. The Wall Street Journal is reporting now a container vessel in the Persian Gulf has been struck. This happened 25 miles south of Iran's Kish Island, causing damage above the waterline. All the crew members, however, are reportedly safe. And this from Trey Yingst at Fox News.
Official confirming to Fox News that the Israelis have started strikes against Iranian rail infrastructure. Remember, earlier today, the Israelis warned civilians to stay off the trains in Iran. They have started to target the bridges of the rail system in Iran as we speak.
Now, the Times of Israel reporting that Israel bombed 10 key rail sections and bridges in Iran as part of an effort to prevent the IRGC from moving weapons systems. Locally, charges expected in a multi-vehicle crash on Whites Creek Pike yesterday afternoon. 47-year-old Leanne Julian of Goodlettsville has been killed. News 2's Megan Fee says Julian had been stopped in a construction zone.
Her car was struck from behind by the driver of a Chevrolet Malibu, who police say was speeding at that scene and failed to stop. Julian's Corolla was pushed into a box truck and hit a pole. She was pronounced dead at the scene. A passenger in that box truck, as well as the driver in that Malibu, were taken to the hospital with injuries.
And charges are pending for the driver of that Malibu. Her name is Deja Florimond. Trading is starting lower on Wall Street today. It's now 8:34, and so trading has begun about 4 minutes ago. And we are looking at losses on the Dow Jones Industrials, 213. The Nasdaq falling 127. The S&P is down 28 points right now. Futures had begun dropping earlier after those airstrikes began in a number of locations in Iran, making it clear that President Trump is prepared to make good on those threats to take out the country's bridges and power plants if Iran doesn't open the Strait of Hormuz. That is the latest news. Traffic and weather coming up. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 8:34, Nashville's Morning News. Contours. Summer is but months away. That work to get that beach bod back, though, begins right now. My friends at Contours, they can help you get it back with FDA-cleared red light technology. Now, Contours is going to help you target those areas that you hate, whether it's your belly, your arms, or your legs, whatever problem area you have, they can help solve that problem. No pain, no surgery, no downtime, just results. Again, they are experts in FDA-cleared red light technology. Listen, your beach trip isn't really that far away. Neither is Contours. Let them help you get rid of those trouble spots. And right now, the first 10 callers get a special introductory price of just $99. That's right. Also, remember, you lose 2 inches or it's free. Check them out today. Contours. That phone number, 615-236-9960, 615-236-9960. The first 10 callers get that special introductory price of $99. ContoursLLC.com, ContoursLLC.com. Contours, where all you've got to lose is inches.
All right, 65 south in Goodlettsville, just before mile marker 100. A crash takes out the right shoulder. Laverne on 24 westbound at Waldron Road, an accident involving injuries. Madison, Old Hickory Boulevard east of East Marathona Road. It's a crash involving injuries there, too. On Dickerson Pike, it's still closed southbound side because of police activity after a fire at Grace Street. You've got 24 eastbound in Joelton. That is slow going this morning in that spot because there's an accident right at Cheatham-Davidson County line. One more in Brentwood. Watch yourself at Edmondson Pike at Old Smyrna Road, where there is also a crash. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.839 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
So who won Mandis's morning moron?
I did. It looks like, Sam, what do people say?
83% agree with Dan.
Boom, shakalaka.
Can I be honest? It doesn't feel like Sam and Joan had their heart in this thing.
Yeah, you know what? Sam, recycled a bit from earlier.
That?
That's
What
been
is
going
that?
on for a couple of days, and Joan didn't even have any audio or anything.
Oh, I needed audio?
It's embarrassing.
Would have helped, Joan.
I guess
Would've
it's
helped.
radio. Maybe audio would be good.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, okay. All right. Okay.
But
It's been a
Joan,
busy morning.
letting you know, though, Joan,
Yeah.
that a vast majority of the audience thinks that you're hot.
Well, that's nice. I'm sending you all to your rooms.
Please?
Yes.
She's like, thank you for telling me something I already knew.
Listen, in my room, I've got a refrigerator and a recliner and a TV. No problem whatsoever.
Yeah, see, that's no good.
Yeah, but we were talking about, do you know what somebody brought up? And the text has been coming in fast and furious today. We're talking about whether or not it was creepy, this guy with the school board, whatever it is. But Joan, somebody brought up the point where, because I said that you don't just, tell women that they're hot. You don't, even if it's an adult woman. I've never in my life done that. Walked up to a woman and said that I thought that she was hot. But
You've never walked up to an adult woman and said that?
No. Have you?
Yeah.
Your wife, right?
Yeah, but when I was in my 20s and, we're out and we're doing things, yeah. You wouldn't make a move like that?
No.
Really?
No. I'm not that bold. I don't.
But if you don't do it, it's the same outcome as if you get denied.
You miss 1,000% of the shots you don't take.
The great Wayne Gretzky. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, no, it's shots you don't take. Right, I got it.
And the great Michael Scott.
Okay, but here's the thing. Some guys just have a different kind of game. I did very well with not walking up to women and being a flippin' pig. Hey, baby, you look hot.
Okay.
How you doing?
Okay.
How you doing?
How
you doing?
It didn't feel as greasy when I did it back in the day.
I'm just saying. You walk.
I think that's why he didn't use that particular tactic.
Now, I guess if you're out clubbing.
Yeah.
But I didn't club when I was younger.
You weren't doing that?
No, I would. Do I seem like a club guy to you?
It was probably more of a disco back in your day.
Okay, I'm going to throw something at you.
Yeah, please do.
Anyway, but the whole point, though, was that. Where was I going with this? Oh, women started texting into the text line, Joan, and they were calling out, I guess, all of us because let's be honest, women. And this is where you come in, Chris. Women will say, oh, yeah, what about the women that want to be called hot unless it's a guy that she deems gross, in which case...
Oh, use the word that the texter used.
What did she use?
Undesirable.
Undesirable. What if it's an undesirable male? So it's only creepy if it's, a guy like me.
Dan.
But Joan,
Did Jackson get to you? Is Jackson's words, have they harmed your ego?
Jackson was brutal to me yesterday, man. It was so funny.
I loved that promo that he made, though.
Mandis is a moron in the mornings.
Mandis, yeah, did you hear what he wants to? He wants to call the new thing. Mandis is a moron in the mornings.
He wants you criminally prosecuted.
He wants me served. He wants me to be thrown in jail for stealing the bit, which wasn't my intention. See, that's the ironic thing.
He did a lot of work. He put a whole bunch of stuff into Grok or ChatGPT and had it spit out a script describing your run from the law, the potential crimes and penalties you could face. There's a lot of effort there.
Oh, by the way, now I'm being accused of stealing Chad's White Woman Wednesday bit.
That wasn't a white woman.
She was a white woman.
No, she wouldn't identify as one. She's a person of non-color. That's what she would say.
A punk.
What?
I have no idea. I've never heard Chad's White Woman on Wednesday. I have no idea, but...
And you did intro it that way. You just said, here's a crazy person.
Yeah, he's a crazy person who, I mean, she
thinks
just...
grass is racist.
We should steal White Woman Wednesday, but we should do other races and see how long it lasts. What do you think?
Oh, could you imagine?
Do you think we'd be allowed? Do you think we'd be allowed?
I think we could get away with it, especially if... I already think if the intro to that would be, it's White Woman Wednesday. Here's Bananas and Rice Girl.
Black Woman Wednesday. What? Well, why are we allowed to do White Woman Wednesday, but we can't do Black Woman Thursday?
Jason,
what would you do for the Vietnamese women?
How do you? Well, and I did the black woman later in the week, so they'd have more time to get ready. But do it. What? And then what if we did an Asian Woman Monday? What if we did Tiger Mom Monday?
That's the boss calling, telling you to stop it. Let's see here. Jason,
I'm just saying, I don't think it's okay. We get away with the white, but I can't do black. That's just me. Maybe that's a controversial thought.
Isn't Jake Paul doing a blackface skit?
I can disparage the white people all I want,
but not the black ladies.
That's, yeah.
All right. Very good.
Isn't Jake Paul doing a Drewski skit?
Don't know.
No, Chris. No.
Good job, Sam. Though
Nick said, "Do Black Fatigue Friday." Oh no! Have you seen those trends on the internet? Oh no!
Yeah,
that's a nasty one.
By the way, Jason is a guy who listens very closely. You know what Jason says? Dan's game is being in his room playing knuckleball. No, knuckle, because I've admitted many times I'm obsessed with how to throw a knuckleball.
It just sounds weird when you have that in your room.
Yeah, where you've already mentioned you are set with your recliner.
I cringed.
Why? What?
Because it's just
no one pictures
you're in the recliner playing knuckleball.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
You're not practicing a pitch.
9686.
Or are you?
9868 says, love hand right now. Keep nailing it.
What?
Absolutely.
Why can't I feel like if we want all things to be equal.
Eskimo Women Friday. We could do Eskimo Women Friday.
We could.
Or Eskimo Women Hot.
Mexican Mamacita Monday.
Well,
I think we go bigger. We should stretch it to a month.
Oh,
so
boy.
We can do the Australian Aborigines April. Let's do that.
Nobody got my joke.
What?
Are Eskimo women hot? It's cold where they live. Come on, man. I can't be the only one bringing the comedy.
If this igloos are rocking.
If I'm in my igloo playing knuckleball in my lounge chair, don't come in.
What is wrong with you? Anyway, whatever.
So here's me just being happy that we're not talking about poop or
chocolate. You really missed it
not
with the
yet,
chocolate, Joan.
Not yet.
Yeah.
It's early, Joan. Do you know what? I went into the boss's office the other day. You know what he said to me? There's a lot of poop talk on the morning show lately.
See? He actually told me that he felt bad for me.
I've been saying the same thing.
That you feel bad for me?
Yep.
Then why do you keep bringing it up?
She had to spend that one day working on Murphy's show? Is that why you felt bad for Joan? I'm totally kidding. 100%. I'm totally kidding.
Everybody felt bad for Joan that day.
I had fun that day.
Yeah, anyway. So, yeah, he said they had too much poop talk. But, I mean, in fairness to the boss, he was right. I don't know how it happened, but there was like 2 or 3 days where, there
were legit news stories out there.
Fecal matter was in the news. And who are we to, deny the news cycle?
We're not going to ignore a story just because it's crappy.
That's exactly right. You know, sometimes it stinks to have to cover all that, fecal news
Stop
stories.
it, all of you. I know what you're doing. Stop.
We could do Fecal Matter Friday.
We can.
I mean, listen, I wouldn't lead with it, but it could be the number 2 option.
That was funny. That was clever.
You might want to have to wipe after that one.
That was not.
People are bringing up circumcision. You want to go there?
Yeah, I was
Chris?
thinking of that too.
Nobody trusts big foreskin.
By the way, I don't know if this is Barrett Media news event cycle thing or worthy or whatever, but they put out a big tweet today. Barrett News Media.
This is a big deal. I'm actually really excited about this.
Barrett News Media, for people that don't know, big, how would you describe them?
Just like an industry newsletter.
Industry newsletter. Joan, they put out a big old thing that says, on this day 12 years ago, Dan Mandis joins WTN.
Really?
Let's go.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary, Dan.
Nice. Happy anniversary.
I'm just thankful that they didn't use the photo of me 12 years ago where I was like, I don't know, man, 70, 80 pounds heavier.
Wow.
And I was balding, and I'm going to be honest with you. I now understand why the company 12 years ago did not put out a press release complete with a photo. Because, I mean, not that much has changed, but I was not a good-looking man back then. Not that I am now, but at least I've dropped some weight and shaved the head.
You have definitely glowed up, my friend.
Well, having...
as the left would say, you transitioned, and you did it well.
Whatever, moving right along. Anyway, 12 years.
Congratulations, dude.
Nice.
And it's a big picture, too. You know what? I'll go ahead and I'll repost it. Should I repost it?
Do it.
You know what would be so ironic? Don't you think? I reposted it if you want to see it. I got fired today. If I got fired today for all the poop talk we've been doing. Dan, 12 years, and you're as crappy as the day that you started.
Oh.
Whatever.
Here's a box. Don't forget your underwear in the hallway.
Oh, my God. The stories about leaving the underwear in the hallway.
You have 12 years of gems in this building.
Oh, man. So,
and, I mean, you think about what you've gone through at this radio station over 12 years, the amount of the news stories that you have been able to cover.
Yep.
From the local aspect where the tornadoes have ripped through or the Covenant shooting to the national stories. You have been here every single time since I've lived in Nashville. And you've done an excellent job, man.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. 7679 says, "You are hot, Dan. My brother wants to date you."
Okay.
It's always the brothers, isn't it?
I can't tell if that's I can't tell if that's a top or bottom tier joke.
Oh, you know what? That 3560 harkens back to, you may have been listening at this point in time. Do you remember the controversy regarding the ice bucket challenge with me?
I never did the ice bucket challenge. I don't give into peer pressure like that. I didn't do the ice bucket challenge. I didn't post the black square. Do you remember when people posted black squares?
No, I don't remember that.
All right, I don't do any of that stuff.
The ice bucket challenge, I forget what it was even for.
You dumped.
Wasn't it ALS?
Yeah, they're trying to raise money for Lou Gehrig's disease research, and so you dumped the bucket of ice because, I guess, because the symptom of ALS is that you don't feel anything.
Oh, I don't know. So, but I was challenged by my friend Michael Delgiorno, of course, and he challenged me to do it. So I did it, and I let out, and I didn't even realize it at the time. I let out, I don't even know how to describe the sound that came out of my.
Was it a guttural sound?
It was like, no, it was like it was so cold, and my voice just went up like nine octaves, and my voice is already high.
Turned into Jigglypuff.
So they, of course, had it on, as they do here. They had it on a hotkey in there, and it lived for years with me making the.
Sam's already looking for it.
It's thankfully and mercifully it died in one of the previous computer collapses, server crashes, whatever.
That never happens around here.
No, it doesn't. But anyway, it's on my Facebook. If you want to scroll down 12 years ago, knock yourselves out.
I might do that.
You go right on ahead.
All right, perfect.
It was girlish. People are saying it was girlish. That's right.
I know one producer who would go looking for it.
Jackson. Jackson, of course he would. They were funny yesterday. They were hysterical.
You should set it up though with them and be like, hey, whatever you do, don't go find this.
Don't go find this from 12 years ago.
Reverse psychology.
Still had hair, still had about 80 pounds, and it actually was very funny. I mean, it was, and there's all the audio you guys have in there of me just saying stupid stuff, doing stupid things, and yet the astonishing thing is I'm still here. Churn the butter. You want to just go ahead and play a few? I don't even know. They got a whole wall in there of
hashtag trendsetter, baby.
We all remember that one.
Yeah.
That's everybody's favorite.
What was the song that you tried to sing?
Oh, do you have that? Hey, do you have hey, hey, hey in there? Oh, that was funny.
That was so good.
And
then we came back the next day, and I made a remix.
Yes, you did. And I felt so sorry for Johnny and Ken, because I come back and I go, I didn't even know what the heck it was. Do you have it? Did you find it? No, he can't find it. Too bad. I said, hey, 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 and I was doing the Simple Minds song.
Yep.
And I don't remember why I did it.
We were talking about what's the guy that did the Breakfast Club and all that? It was something about the director.
Mm-hmm.
Hughes,
Emilio
was
Estevez?
it Hughes?
John Hughes.
Yeah.
And I mean, people have, even to this day, people walk up to me and they do that to me like in a grocery store.
That's actually the best icebreaker that you can give to Mandis. And do it from a bit of a distance so you have to shout down the aisle to let him know that you don't have to do anything else. It's just kind of like it's solidarity.
Yeah.
Matt Murphy texted.
Oh, what did he say?
He said, congrats on 12 years. It's no 1,000 shows, but it is great.
That's funny. Ha. It's no 1,000. How many shows is that? How many weekdays? Very quickly, because running late. How many weekdays in a year? Can we do that?
What are we doing? Are we doing napkin math? Is this math in the morning on Mandis? Is this the new bit? What radio show did you steal this one from?
Hey, 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 hey.
There you go.
Hey, can I ask you a question?
Well, very quickly, because we're running late.
Yeah, did you used to think that Jen Psaki was hot?
Pamela Furr. Yes, I did.
We'll have to leave that for the handoff tomorrow.
Wow.
Yes.
We'll pick up.
I have a whole different view of you now, brother.
Listen,
wait until you hear about the Wicked Witch.
Oh, okay.
8:55. I'm time checking all of us. 8:55. Window Nation. Spring is here. It is a great time to open your windows, and Window Nation has a great deal going on right now. If you want windows for your home, if you want to upgrade, go to Window Nation. They are in the middle of their The More You Buy, The More You Save sale going on right now. You could save up to 50% off all the windows in your home and get them with 0% interest financing for 5 years. A great deal from Window Nation. They've got an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, 96% customer satisfaction rating. And don't forget that great deal. They're trying to save you money. The More You Buy, The More You Save sale going on right now. You could save up to 50% off all window styles in your home and 0% interest for 5 years. Find them online. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. WindowNation.com. That's WindowNation.com. DT McCall's, it is that time of year, lawn mowing season, and DT McCall's, they are here to make it easy with great prices on the best in mowers. If you need a new lawn mower, go to my friends at DT McCall's. They're one of the top Cub Cadet dealers in the country. And every year they have a great sale. And right now it is going on at their Lebanon location. You can save up to $1,000 on the best in Cub Cadet lawn mowers. So whether you need a ride-on mower for the larger areas or push-behinds, they have great deals on a variety of Cub Cadet mowers. 0% interest financing for 24 months. It is available for some models as well. Find them online, dtmccalls.com. That's dtmccalls.com.